Hey everybody, and welcome to Virginia Beach, Virginia, here for the Cerberus Super Series presented by Pro Strongman League. My name is Jim Bates alongside CJ Cross. CJ, we're starting a little later than expected today because this weather has been a little unpredictable.
It has been really unpredictable. We've had some light rain to some moderate rain. Now it's actually pretty nice out. The sun's starting to peek through a little bit, just what we were aiming for. So I'm excited to start seeing the show.
Yeah, well, everything started brightening up when we saw you this morning. So, always coming prepared with the outfit with CJ Cross. So it is warming up a tiny bit, about upper 60s, maybe jumping into the low 70s, but it is going to play a little bit of a factor. It was wet earlier, took a little while, but the guys are warming up right now with the 105kg class because we're starting out with the overhead press medley. So what do we have in the medley today?
So it is a little bit different order. So we are starting with the press medley today. We start on this medley as a 300-pound axle clean and press. The athletes will go directly into a double dumbbell clean and press, 130 pounds each for that dumbbell, into a keg press for 240 pounds, and to finish it off, it is a clean and press away log at 280 pounds at the end of that grueling medley.
That's a grueling medley to start with, and guys, keep in mind, this is day one for this group. So
day one event one.
Yeah, day one event one for this group because we'll have 5 more events tomorrow. So this is a 2-day event total. The 82-kilo women will all go in 1 day tomorrow. So a lot of the strategy today is going to be conserving energy and getting enough points where you can. CJ, what would be your strategy going into something like this, starting with such a grueling medley?
I mean, the biggest thing on this one is a different order than they've been trained for. So they're preparing for this first event. They were wanting to do the squat, but due to the weather, we have to move it to the press medley first and foremost. I personally prefer having the medley first, just to get that out of the way. I would, again, aim for something where if I'm doing my clean and press away, one before it starts becoming a grinding rep. Because there are 10 total events, assuming I'm making the finals in this one, that I'm going to need to save my energy for. And there's another press tomorrow on that. I would try to get as many clean reps as I can inside of that while keeping good points, because that's all the game today is a points game.
Absolutely, points game. And we're still constructing some things. You can probably see behind us when we started. Like this is, again, for some of the other events that we have today. I believe that's for the kind of the steeplechase type of event with the Sandbag gauntlets. So
that should be tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Getting ahead of it right now. But
still a lot of things to go today. And again, love seeing the sun poke out just a little bit here at Virginia Beach, Virginia, and Pier 17, the 17th Street Pier. We've got about 4 minutes till we get going with the press medley. It's going to be over to our left, so we're a little over from the stage. We're going back and forth between the stage over there that's covered and where we are set up on the beach right now. So a couple more events today. What are the other events we're getting into today?
So the other event that I broke up, the squat.
Oh, the squat?
The squat event. I'm just excited to see how this one goes. They were doing the heights for this one, 600-pound axle bar squat on that. If anyone's ever done an axle bar squat, it is so much more challenging to keep on the back itself, and there are no grip shirts allowed for this. So that is a big key factor, especially with the little moisture in the air we have right now.
A little bit of moisture. It's going to be interesting today, absolutely. And also people's grips, too. If there's any sort of moisture on these sandbags as well, that's going to play a factor.
Yeah, speaking of sandbags, sandbag to shoulder is what we have going on today. Multiple with that one, ranging from 250 pounds all the way up to 325 pounds. And these bags are packed tight. I was talking with Isaac Mays before the show, and he was actually a little concerned how tightly packed they were. He likes it a little more loose in the bag itself.
Yeah,
so
you can get a little bit. You can play around with your grip just a little bit. At least get your fingers a little tighter. But when these are brand new sandbags too.
Brand new Cerberus sandbags.
Yeah, packed with sand from this beach too.
Literally from the ground.
We're going to return it back.
We're just borrowing the sand for the show right now, but we needed them for this event coming up on that one. But they said 250 to 325. 250 should be pretty quick, but that 325, the height of the bag, becomes the challenge.
People. Yeah, absolutely. What else we got today?
Going with that one, speaking of grip, you talked about this earlier, is going to be the Pig Iron Metalworks frame carry, 720 pounds. This is a very unique frame. As the height of it's almost like a tough to pick. It's a little higher than normal, and it's very tight to the athletes.
It is very tight. So this is the same frame I believe we used at the Baltimore qualifier back in January. And that one, the guys really struggled with it. It was tipping forward a little bit, the way it's balanced. And also, I put my hands in there, right? So a normal frame, you have like a little bit of room, and I have smaller hands, right? But for guys with bigger hands, trying to get a good grip underneath, not just in your fingertips, but actually in your palm, is a little bit more difficult.
Yes, 100%, especially after doing all these events earlier. But this is one of the things I think this order of events benefits the athletes, because originally this press medley is supposed to be after that grip event. And when you have an axle and you have double dumbbells, I think it benefits them doing this press medley earlier on this. So I think they got a little blessing in disguise with this weather today. But I think we'll see by the end of it. And one more event besides that is going to be our sandbag toss for height and distance on that one. So it's going to be 35 pounds up to 55 pounds over that bar today. Someone to look out for is Blake Detus.
Okay.
He said he was good for 80 over 15.
80 over 15.
And he doesn't need to do that today, but I know a lot of guys are either concerned about this event or excited. And the battle between Blake and Ricky, the brute. I can't say his last name very well.
Mochi Jimba.
That one.
Mochi Gimba.
Yeah.
Richie
We got you, Richie. I think Richie is going to be one to watch for that sandbag toss too. Those are probably the two best tossers, and that's our 5th event today, our final event before we go to day 2.
And we'll pause right now because you probably hear this going over us at this moment. We'll wait just a second. So keep in mind, where are they? Can't even see them right now.
They're all up in the sky.
We are just outside Norfolk, so obviously a very large military base is here, and the Air Force as well. So you'll hear those jets go by, everybody practicing every once in a while. So it adds to the atmosphere here too. I think that's pretty exciting.
100%. I think it's really cool. We won't be able to see too much today, but over the past couple of days, we've seen some of the aerial maneuvers they've been doing. It's kind of an exciting add-on that we have here.
Absolutely. So again, Cerberus Super Series.
Cerberus Super Series.
Cerberus
Say that 5 times fast back home.
Absolutely. So Cerberus obviously our main sponsor. Other amazing sponsors for us today: Zone Smelling Salts, Pioneer Fit, and Sirius Steel Fitness among the incredible sponsors today. Along with
Stronger Together. This one right here.
Stronger Together here at the Pro Strongman.
This one, and again, tying this outfit in, is this great Stronger Together shirt we have going on. So.
And if you're around in the Virginia Beach area, please come out to the 17th Street Pier. There's a food truck out here. We have some of our vendors out, including the Stronger Together team. And again, it's free to enter. You can come in here and watch everybody, cheer them on. We would love to see more people out here. Weather kept people away this morning, but as it starts to warm up, we should be having a bigger crowd out here.
I'm sure by the time we get to the event, especially the events when we get over here on the beach,
absolutely.
we think it's get a much better view of that one. I think it'd be nice to have people around that one, so it'll be exciting.
Yeah, and on that sandbag toss for height too, I really want to throw out there, some of that is mulch. The lighter ones have some rubber mulch in it, so even those are going to be a little bit different each. And they were trying to pack the 55-pound one. They're like, I don't know how to get more weight in here. So again, those are going to be tightly packed. And if you've ever thrown a sandbag before, which is one of my least favorite events to do because I'm terrible at it, it's different. It's different. Every bag is different, and everything is shaped differently. You toss it differently.
I'm a big fan of the Cerberus sandbags. I think probably my favorite tossing bag that I've used is those Cerberus bags. If you just time that so it doesn't dip back on you, it's a lot easier with that. Sandbag's one of those events though that you either overtrain or undertrain it. You can't just go into a couple sessions with it. So we'll see what athletes are just we'll see what happens and it goes over the bar, or we'll see some athletes that I'm I've been doing this for 6 months straight and they get some good tosses. So it'll be fun to watch. It'll be a good way to end the day too, because they'll be able to go day 2 a little more fresh.
Yeah, and it's a little more fun too. But I always call those every time training for them.
They're fun to watch, not fun to do.
Right? No, not to do. But training those is always kind of like gambling for me. I'm like, okay, just one more, because you think you're fine, and then by the end of the day, you've thrown about 100 times and your back is absolutely fried. Yeah. So always got to think about that too.
Save themselves for tomorrow.
Save yourself for tomorrow. I know. So coming up on this press medley, you can see the guys. We're seeing them kind of start clearing out the main stage a little bit as we get ready. Also, that keg is going to be interesting. You have a scar.
I do. I have a scar. Keg. This exact Slater keg has definitely torn me up myself at a recent competition, and it scarred up my bicep. I was loading the keg. Keg pressing's a little bit different on that one, but that's something I think is going to be unique, because keg pressing itself is a lot more about hip drive than it is about your pressing and power, because the axle cleaner press is really good with the pressing power on that one, but that keg is, if they can learn how to get that whip, they can just catch it.
Oh, absolutely. The keg is always a little bit different. I love watching people's different techniques with it, because there are a lot of different ways to accomplish that. So you either roll it up your chest, you pop it up.
The little swing up.
A little backwards. I absolutely love all that. So we're about to get going here on the main stage for the press medley, starting off the Cerberus Super Series Pro Strongman League. We'll get there in just a minute. And if guys are watching on the YouTube live stream, by the way, the best thing you can do, go ahead and press that subscribe button. Make sure you give Dante Petrella Productions, ADL Pros here helping out too. Make sure you follow everybody, subscribe. That is the best way to help support those, and it's free to do that. So
100%. And you'll be notified when the women start tomorrow as well. You'll be notified all the other Super Series coming up, because in the future we have the 90-kilo men, the 80-kilo men, we have the 64 women. There's so many great Super Series events coming up that you want to make sure you're ahead of the game for and you're preparing to watch, because these athletes are amazing to watch.
And for anybody who's watching, who starting out already with Sam Ristling as our first competitor on that press medley, going into that double dumbbell looks difficult.
Yes, I think that's one of the more difficult events on there, is that double dumbbell. It's the clean itself, and as we talk to some of the athletes, that clean hits a hard wall. Oh, just one motion's that one.
Beautiful keg press right there.
Sam coming from Canada all the way here. Trains with Isaac Mays out there. He used to be 290 pounds, and now he's doing a 105kg, 231 or less for that.
See, see Bobby Thompson, excuse me, is the judge up there. Even he got a sweatshirt, if that gives you an idea of how chilly it is today.
Yeah.
Even Bobby put on a sweatshirt for this one.
I believe that's Bobby's log as well that we're utilizing today.
That is a rough-looking log. It's a diamond pattern across it, and that looks rough.
I have used that log at PSL 90s this past year, and that's one of the harder logs to clean and press that I've used in a long time. That's a very tough log. So the fact that you got, I believe, 4 reps or 3 reps on that one is very impressive, especially to clean that last one as quickly as he did after dropping it.
That was a beautiful clean, too.
Because it is press away. They do not need to re-clean in between those log presses.
That's important to note because cleaning and pressing each rep is one of the more exhausting things, especially on logs. So if the clean and press away, if the longer you can hold that up there, even just sitting on your chest, I know it's harder to breathe sometimes that way, but you breathe out, get that breath back in at the top, and then breathe out as you're going.
I mean, what I like to utilize is holding the log overhead to catch my breath.
Yes, exactly.
That's what you want to make sure you have that. So then we have Richie coming up, the Texas Brute.
He says, don't call him Richie Mo. It's Richie Mochigamba, Mochi, Moch.
Beautiful axle clean on that. That was very quick on there. A little bit, didn't use much leg drive, almost strict pressed that. And the double dumbbell clean, catches bait. Nice on that one. He is moving well through this so far.
Moving really quickly.
Oh, the keg getting him some trouble.
And Bobby's going to make you work for those lockouts. He's not just going to give it away.
100%. And on to that 280-pound log now. Nice clean. Again, he's almost strict pressing. He's very little leg drive when he's utilizing this. How will that affect him in the multiple reps now? Rep number 3 for him. Yeah, Bobby being a very strict, fair judge.
And he said that he was going to call it there at 3. Great run by Richie. And Bobby said that as much at the rules meeting. Anytime you've had him as a judge, he's like, look, if I mess up, I mess up. Don't come talk to me. But I'm going to be as fair as possible.
Yeah, like I
he's
said,
going to make you work for it. He's going to make it clean.
I've had Bobby be a judge of mine, and again, he's very, very fair across the board. But it's you have to have full control of that implement before you get your down command, which honestly, I would rather have that.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather not watch it back and be like, I was iffy on that one. I'd rather him make me work on for it. Damon Curtis, who's coming up next. Fun athlete to watch on this one. Very quiet guy, honestly, when it comes to how he competes and everything. But he's definitely a dark horse for this show. A lot of people wouldn't know his name if you read it on our score sheet, but definitely very strong in this situation. Oh, having trouble with that axle right now, getting that clean. He finally got it over the belt and got it in position.
Oh, nice.
Beautiful jerk right there, so he finally got full control of that. But how much of those almost 3 attempts to get that bar over the belt going to take out of him?
You know, and it's so funny, if you're not into strongman, if you don't compete, it's a lot about conserving energy on each movement. Like, how can you be the most efficient to clean things? And he's really struggling with those double dumbbells because you just waste so much energy getting very heavy weight to your shoulders.
Oh, come on, come on.
Oh, Bobby's not going to give that.
Bobby's got to get that full lockout for him. And he finally got it right there. He can make up time on this keg, though. He just needs to get that in one motion. We saw Richie take a little bit extra time on that. And he really needs to get to that log. And there it is. Can you get that arm fully extended? No? And it looks like he ran out of time. Bobby did not give him that keg. You're battling the weight and the clock on this event, especially.
Absolutely, and it's about pacing too, right?
Yep.
Like knowing slow is fast sometimes, right?
Yep.
Making it slow. Some people want to speed through that. They get their adrenaline up, especially in the first event being an overhead. You get really excited, but those small mistakes can lead to big issues throughout the press.
Well, especially it's all about control. All about control in that weight, because again, Bobby's not going to give you a down command unless you have full control of that weight. So let's take that keg for example. It's all hip drive. If you overshoot the hips and it starts falling behind you, you got to recontrol that versus getting in position.
Judges ready. Go.
Sky Olsen.
Olsen is up now.
Again, using the belt.
Yes.
And look how high up that sits, by the way. Like you can see when he's holding it there, he just can't. That's an advantage, honestly, if your lats are so tight that your front rack is about 5 inches above your shoulders.
To an extent, though, this thing is you can't get as much power into controlling it on that. So. Oh, he didn't wait for his down command. That is so heartbreaking on that one. But that's
really clean press, too.
Oh, he had it. That's the thing. He was so overconfident with that motion that he just was able to get 7. And then there's that keg that 240 pounds on paper does not sound like a lot of weight. But if you've ever tried to clean a keg and press it in one motion, it is a lot tougher. And like I said, these kegs like to bite back on that.
The first keg I ever trained with was a 100-pound keg that was full of water. So
Oh.
trying to press that and it's sloshing all around on you. It's tricky. That's
I've
a
trained
hard
mostly
one
with
to
water,
learn.
but these kegs are a little bit more tightly packed than that Slater keg. So
Wow.
unfortunately, he didn't get the keg either. So
So we've only had a couple of athletes so far get in and get some multiple reps
Yeah.
On that press medley. Overhead is always a great way to get points. If you're a good overhead presser, I
It's
always feel like
it's
that
usually
is
first
fun.
too, so it starts your day off real well. And
Yeah, get a little confidence going.
Definitely have intro music.
But yeah, that log it looks pretty gnarly.
Oh, it's gnarly. It is. It's one of the tougher logs that I've ever worked with. I would say, and it's so dense.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's, you know what, and this Bobby has said this before though too. Like, better the log presser is somebody who's going to train with the heaviest log possible, empty. If
Yes.
that log is heavy, empty, and you can work with that as your
Very
base.
fast to that one there, Chris. Oh, but he couldn't get control of it. That's the thing about this. These nerves are coming into play right now. This first event nerves.
45 seconds.
And Chris is in a little bit of trouble getting those dumbbells to shoulder here, but he finally got them both up there. And again, that press isn't the hard part. It's that clean.
Right? It's just getting him up there.
Oh, very high motion on that one.
Beautiful keg press right there.
Yeah.
30 seconds to go.
And again, we're seeing so many different forms of this one. He hit it higher on the hip, but he was able to drive it through.
How many reps?
Really pretty clean.
The Schwant one.
That log press is easy for him.
20 seconds.
Trying to find some stability though.
Yeah, he needs to get his head through as well.
15 seconds.
He's getting it high enough, but yeah.
So I'm a fan of the split jerk. I know it takes a little bit more time, but I'm also weak without it. So I learned how to split jerk and get a couple extra pounds there.
I'm waiting for someone to Viper that log. That's all I'm waiting for. My heart always goes out when I see a Viper on the log, so it's one of my favorite things to see and do. So, but I've also honed in my version of the Viper, so I can be pretty confident in those movements. But on that log, I would never try to Viper, in all honesty. Even the weight we use that exact log I said for PSL 90s, and the weight we had, definitely in my range to do a one motion with it. That log, the way it shifts, it's not possible.
Judges ready.
So if someone can prove me wrong and do it today, I would love to see it. All right, Jack Hare is up next. Hare.
Someone will correct us.
Yes, I think it's Hare though, the way it's spelled.
We'll go with hair on that one.
Yes. Very clean, very fast through that first implement. For 300 pounds, that's something to take into account. That first implement is 300 pounds.
This is honestly terrifying watching some of these cleans on those double dumbbells.
Oh, the double dumbbells. Yeah, that's it. It's
It's
a bicep scary event.
I didn't want to say it, but
Yeah.
that's exactly what's going through my head for those.
But again, another time is the fact that it's first is probably better for these athletes. Now that
When you're fresh, not tired.
we're not looking after like a couple carries, after a sandbag to shoulder to try to do that double dumbbell. Because again, this was originally supposed to be event number 4.
15 seconds. All right, Jay
Again, because
Strong,
the
get
weather,
in
we're starting a
front of the
little
log.
bit later, and this is day 1 for the 105 kg. So right now it's all a points game trying to get into that day 2.
It looks like he didn't get past those dumbbells.
That's going to be a
That's
tough start.
Yes, because we saw 2 athletes not be able to complete the keg so far. We saw 2 athletes get 3 reps, I believe, on the
Might have
log.
had 4 to start, and then 3, and then 1.
Yes.
Was just before this was.
So honestly, if I'm an athlete and I drew a later number, so how these athletes were organized, we're drawing names out of a hat, drawing numbers in order out of the hat. So this first one is all randomized on this. So these athletes that drew a better number, I would aim for 2 on that log personally. I think
It's a good goal. It's a good goal to get to. On a 4th implement, when you're going
Yeah.
for reps, it's already really heavy.
Yeah. It looks like this is Eric Olmstead is up now. Very long arms on Eric. I noticed that with his press. He had like a lot of distance to travel on that. So let's see how this affects the rest of these implements.
I like people using the knee.
The knees, yeah.
Knee method. It's almost like you're benching that.
Yeah, as if you were sitting on a bench
Exactly.
yourself. You had to get him up there.
It's a smart way to go. And these
Yeah.
are difficult implements.
I mean, that's Strongman. Everything has to be a little bit difficult. You
Gotta
can't.
change it up.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen a double dumbbell press in a competition besides some of these beach competitions we've done.
You can hear the crowd over there too. We can hear them. And Yanni, our MC, trying to get the crowd going.
Oh, it looks like the
Watching
dumbbell's not for him as well.
That's
So
tough. Well, I mean, it's 2 guys right about the same, right? And
Yeah.
the way they're scoring that.
haven't seen anybody 0, which is good so far. So it's exactly what we never want to see that.
There's no wood to knock on right now, CJ,
Yeah.
but all right. Appreciate you bringing it up. No.
I believe in these athletes enough that I don't think I jinx them. 300 pounds, like I said, for any of these athletes
If you're
should be
at
fine.
this level,
Yeah.
300 pounds on that axle should be something you should be
Was-
able to do.
I believe this is Matt Powell who's up right now.
Oh, easy.
Yeah. Like I said, these.
But that's the thing though. Bobby's gonna make you wait until you are stable and you're not moving around, and that's where you're gonna lose some time.
Yeah.
Those seconds are gonna be crucial when you get down to the log if you can press that.
Yeah. Oh, can you get that? Can you get those arms locked out? Oh, he got it.
He got it.
Whew. Onto that keg. Getting to the keg so far has been decent points. So if he can press this keg, just even get the keg above head, and he looks like he got it through.
No, he didn't get the down command.
Did he not wait for the down command? He did not wait for the down command.
20 seconds.
You gotta hate that, man.
Let's go, bud.
Yeah, and then he needs to get that through, get control of it. And there it is. There's the down command. He got there. He's got a little bit of time so he can get at least one on that log, hopefully.
7, 6, 5,
The countdown's going
About 5
4.
seconds. Get one.
Oh, it's hard when you're trying to get stable, and you hear the timer, you're rushing through it.
And that's another thing too. When you're up there and you're competing, how much do you hear and how much do you zone it out?
I can't hear a crowd, but I can hear my judge. I can hear the timer. Those are the two things I always notice right there. Is where's my judge? I'm staring them down. Yeah, I would never notice a crowd, but I'll always notice that clock though, and you can hear them calling it down. That's where it gets scary on that one.
For sure.
Blake Dietis is up next.
Now, he's the guy you said to watch out for when it comes
Oh,
to sandbag.
when we see those sandbag tosses, it is going to be an epic showing, and so
I'm gonna get him to the side and be like, "Hey, fix my sandbag toss."
I'm sure he can. He has a Highlands game background as well.
Okay, there you go. Highland
Yes.
Games athletes. It's interesting to see how different athletes from different backgrounds, where they're better. I think powerlifters are obviously going to be very strong in the deadlift portion of things.
Yes.
CrossFitters usually are great in overhead, especially on the women's side. Their clean
That'll-
and press is going to be strong.
We'll see someone later on today with Olympic lifting background. He'll be going last in this event.
Okay.
Aiden Howell. So when we see him come up, we'll see some really good pressing.
Absolutely.
I know he was super excited about the whole switch of events because the pressing is what he wanted to really get his points on, and now he doesn't have to do it fatigued.
Right, and then, again, Highland Games athletes, anytime there's a throw for height, impressive. Kendra Dancer is one of the better sandbag tossers I've seen on the women's side.
Looks like Blake couldn't get those dumbbells. That's the curveball in this whole event is those dumbbells. Honestly, the first and the fourth implement are nothing new to these athletes. There's something we see regularly in the sport of strongman. A double dumbbell, like, I've never done that in competition. I've been competing for 9 years now.
Yeah.
Keg press,
You don't see very often either.
I've done it twice ever, and once was this year, and once was 6 years ago.
My very first strongman comp had a keg press, and I got it for 3 reps, and I was so excited.
Yes, I got a couple.
Oh, man, I almost died.
50 seconds to go.
Matt is up now. I believe it's McQuiston.
I like that name.
I hope I'm saying it right for you, Matt. And he's blitzing through. Wow, I look down and then up. He's already on the keg. Very good presser, very stable. And now he's got to do some damage on that log.
Very nicely putting down that keg on the Cerberus mats they have out there.
I love those Cerberus mats.
Cerberus mats, yeah.
They absorb so well all the force, especially in these heavy weights.
That first rep was
Very powerful
easy.
cleans.
He's looking for about 4 reps at least, I believe,
Yes, that
to
should
tie the leader or to put him in the lead.
Well, he's on pace to take the lead right now.
Oh my goodness.
He's in a
these are
good
easy.
rhythm. I believe this is 5 reps for him right now.
That should put him in the lead pretty easily right there.
I think
One more.
With 5 reps.
So that's our leader right there. Wow, that was a
That was
beautiful
like I said. I
run.
looked down and then up. He was already on the 3rd implement.
That's
So
impressive.
yeah, impressive as we say.
Only a few more athletes to go.
Well, we're about halfway through. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 athletes to go.
There you go.
So I believe there are 16 athletes in the show today.
Nice.
So a good amount. Yeah, this is Vince Wilkinson, one of our younger athletes.
I like to see the old guys in here, though. I like to see the
It's
masters
such a
class,
mix.
the masters age, or somebody competing in an open, or
Yeah.
me and my fellow upper 30s getting in there and showing the kids a thing or two.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Very powerful, and then one motion cleaning that. Mind you, that is 300 pounds that he just did that with, just from the ground to the shoulders. Making this press look easy across this one.
See how it gets tougher? It's easy to let your arm get out a little bit. It's same
Yeah.
with like circus dumbbell on those. Anytime you want to stay as close to your body as
Oh,
possible.
and then that keg is a little bit of a difference maker on that one. Slowed him down a little bit. So much that took out of his triceps. Because that ending, if you don't get that full one motion on there, it is all triceps.
Look at him
Yeah,
take a second, calm down, step back, get into his own motion for this log.
Yeah.
It might take an extra second or two, but he probably knows this is a tough one for him.
He probably needed that extra second because he got that 1 rep, but just a big rep. If he can
Right there is going to get you some points. Stay in the top 6 for today.
Yeah.
Top 7.
if he can get one more, that's gonna be huge. He's gonna jump one of the other athletes, and just isn't there right now. So he's gonna be splitting some points there, but definitely we saw a lot of athletes not get to that implement. So he's definitely in the top. He said 5 to 6 currently.
And that's a hard thing too. If you go in and that's the advantage of going later, right? You can see what other people do and say, okay, I know I can't get 4 reps on this
Yep.
log, but if I get 1 or 2, I'm just high enough that I'm going to get enough points to be a little bit more successful and put me in a good spot to win.
Jacob McBride is up now. Looks like he cut his sleeves off for this one.
I think he actually got a tank top. So he specifically ordered a tank top, the Iron Rook.
Yeah, on Instagram.
On Instagram. That's how you know most people, right? It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I know your Instagram handle.
Well, this is an athlete that competes also at 90 kilograms as well versus myself.
That's
So,
true.
so he is an athlete that is a little bit heavier than normal for this. He said the dumbbells were his biggest thing he's afraid of on this event. His gym only has up to 100-pound dumbbells, so he couldn't even train up to the 130s
That's tough.
for this event.
That's tough because you always want to at least you want to train heavier and harder than it's going to be,
Yeah,
right?
ideally.
Ideally, that's the thing. And if your gym doesn't have the implements, that makes it tough. I've driven hours before to get to a gym that has had the single implement I need.
Yeah.
Really hoping Jacob can at least get these reps on here. He's gonna struggle with that.
Yeah.
10 seconds.
It's a tough one.
At some point, you gotta just say, okay, I'm gonna have to not hurt myself right now. I'm gonna
Yeah.
save the rest of this energy.
There's
come
still
back and get
plenty
it.
of events to make up on that one. He's a great deadlifter. So when we get to day 2, I think it'd be very good for him. Isaac Mays should be coming up next. This is one of the guys I think is the front runner.
Athlete ready.
All right.
Judges ready.
Isaac Mays, one of the more seasoned athletes, an athlete to watch on this one. I think he's going to do great on the press event. Very powerful clean. I love the utilization of that belt right there to get that one motion.
You know what? Pro belt clean, man.
Oh my God, I
mean,
love
come
me a
on,
belt
give
clean.
me a good belt clean.
The fact that that belt just slingshotted it in position, it's just,
But you know what's funny? This would be tough for me. I don't like using a belt on log. It throws me out of position somehow with it, where it sits.
30 seconds.
So I'm not a huge fan of that. So it's interesting. You know, you have to train like that.
yeah. I am a fan of belt on log. So,
Oh,
hey, there's Vipers. There's the
there it is.
Viper.
That's
Thank
what you're
you,
looking
Isaac.
for.
That's what I was waiting for, is that one motion
Second rep.
on that. And he told me he was going to try it today. So that,
This is like an unbroken push press right now.
oh, Isaac's one of the best pressers in the 105K class. In the world, that's that.
The lead. That's tied for the lead right there. That's rep number 5.
He needs this one. And he's going to push through it.
Wow.
Yep. If I was him, I would stop, and there we go.
Yep,
Just
yep.
smartest move, because he's near the end here as well. He's got 3 athletes behind him, and they are good pressers, but now he's putting the pressure on them. Like, you have to get 7.
Yes.
And you're battling the clock at that one. I think a perfect run where everything moves, you can probably get 8, maybe.
Absolutely perfect.
And that's if you are one of the strongest pressers in the world and not have a miss. That was the closest to a perfect run we've seen so far.
Absolutely.
By far.
Absolutely. Love seeing this. There's some really impressive lifting going on here today.
Listen, Isaac is a seasoned athlete, though. He knows where to push and where to pull back.
And you know what? I think we just saw that on that last rep, right? He hit 6. He knows he goes in knowing he needs 6. So he runs this knowing he needs 6. He gets his 6 and stops.
Yep.
Because he has seen everybody else compete now. That's an advantage. But also, that's a professional athlete.
Yep.
You know, you gotta know
100%.
what you need, calm down, do what you need, and then stop.
Yep, we got Nick Hine coming up next, another athlete I think we look for. I think the Isaac Mays and Nick Hine is one of my favorite combos right here, because these are 2 athletes I personally think have a shot at the podium the best. And by that first motion, I think he just needs to, if he wants to beat, almost overshoots it on those dumbbells. Too strong for his own good. But again, that pressure's on from Isaac, the way his run was. So you put the pressure on the next athlete.
He tipped it a different direction, too. I think that's funny watching people who are left-handed and right-handed.
Dominant,
The way
yep.
he tipped that keg.
All right, here's where it comes into play. He wants to get at least that 4 range, but he needs to start battling some points here. Very fast in that press. If he can get this rhythm going, he's got a shot to catch. This is number 3.
Nice. That was easy.
Yeah, each one of these presses look easier and easier. But again, we're in the clock battle now.
7 seconds.
5, he needs one more to tie Isaac. Can he get it through? And just in the nick of time.
Oh, count it.
Whew.
What an excellent finish right there.
Again, that back-to-back, I told you, is going to be one of the ones to watch. And now the question is, like, if you're Isaac, should you have gone for that 7th rep? It'd have been tight though. He did slow down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at that point, depending on what you know for the rest of today,
Yep.
right? Is if you've studied your competition, or at least know yourself, really it's all about knowing what you were able to do. If you know you're a good enough presser, like, okay, come in. They might split some points, though.
Yeah.
That's what you really don't want to do.
But I'd rather split points than lose points.
That's what I'm talking about.
So as much as everyone hates splitting
Four more
points,
events coming today.
Yeah.
And if you push right
8
here
more
where you're
total
going-
before we even cut to top 10. Like 8 more on top of this.
Again, a little switch up with our schedule today, starting out with the press medley versus the squat because
Yep.
some weather moved in, but it has dried out nicely. It's warmed up as
Oh, it's
well.
definitely getting a little hot up in here. So
I'm about to take off one of my 3 jackets.
I mean, Mike Legaikis, I think is how you say his last name.
Legaikis, yeah.
Legaikis, there we go. There we go.
He was in Baltimore
He is.
as well for our qualifier.
He's having trouble with this 300-pound axle. And again, this is showing how tough that implement is and how easy some of these athletes made it look. Come on, man.
Come on, you gotta let's get in there. And that's a long time for that to sit on your chest. And
That's a
dry.
heavy weight, yeah.
Yeah.
30 seconds.
It's he might have also been benefited just putting it down for a second.
Yep. Take a moment, come back to it.
Yeah,
But it is very hard to drop the implement, try to come back to it, and
Correct.
and go for that second
There's-
try,
there's
clean it
not.
again.
Yep, and he got it so close. He's using the jerk technique, a push jerk, and he's just not getting low enough. Is the problem here.
That's the hardest thing to learn in a jerk, is learning to just get low. You're not necessarily pushing the bar up as you are diving underneath.
Yes, I call it jumping down.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
And for your
Looks
last
like he's not going to
So-
get points on that
for the
event.
press
it's
medley,
8 more events before the final, so you got plenty of time to make up on those. You can have one bad event,
AKA the
and then
America's Strongest
realistically,
Mullet.
he lost a single point
Sure.
by zeroing because he would have gotten last now. So
Oh, my bad.
last but not least, Aiden Howe, who I talked about, has that Olympic lifting background.
I mean,
Aiden,
I think you're blowing the lead here, which is the world's strongest mullet.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's fine. The Olympic lifting background, you see it right there.
and he is 21 years old, I believe, so our youngest athlete by far.
Pretty sure I saw him roll up in his T-top
45
Firebird,
seconds to go.
circa 1981.
Again, another athlete that has been a 90-kilo competitor in the past.
He's going to have to re-pick that keg. He just missed out. His right arm wasn't locking out. He's struggling with it.
And again, that keg press, he is so new to the sport that I'm sure he has never had to press a keg in his life.
There it is.
And a keg press is all about technique, not about strength.
Exactly.
How much did that keg take out of him is the question.
Quite a bit, I'm sure. That log is easy for him.
10 seconds,
Yep.
audience, make some noise.
Again, very powerful with his jerk technique.
6, 5,
Getting 2, that's big. That's big with the time frame he had.
2,
Oh,
1.
he tried the late split. I've never seen a late split before.
I know.
And that
But-
Oh, man, so that should wrap up.
Cerberus Super Series.
That should wrap up our press medley. First event of the day is over. The leader coming with 7 reps.
No, 6 reps, I believe.
6 reps.
Tie
Oh,
at the
yeah,
leader,
6
Isaac
yeah.
Mays and Nick Hine tying with those 6 reps, I believe, with that one. So, again, we have to double check everything beforehand, see if there's any missed calls or things like
Sure.
that. But from our view, it looks like it's a tie for first place between Nick Hine and Isaac Mays. And I would not expect anything less from
Absolutely.
the start.
Wonderful. We're going to take a short break while we switch up going into the next event. I believe they're coming out to the beach for this one.
Yeah, I think coming up next should be the squat, but we'll double check it soon.
We'll double check. The weather has changed things up a little bit, but we'll come back to you in just a few minutes here from Virginia Beach, Virginia for the Cerberus Super Series with the Pro Strongman League.
Through our struggles, there are opportunities. Opportunities that can change us and change the world. Born out of risk, strife, persistence, and triumph. Our achievements define us as humans. From the bottom, we can rise. Risen, we can dominate. We are strong. We are pioneer.
Athletes ready.
Welcome back, everybody, to Virginia Beach, Virginia, the Cerberus Super Series Pro Strongman League, day one with the 105kg crew. My name is Jen Bates alongside CJ Krause. We are just done with the first event, which was the overhead press medley. Saw some beautiful pressing and some big struggles there, too, because that double dumbbell event was absolutely rough. So we do want to go over some scores with you. Isaac Mays, it looks like, is your leader. He had 6 reps.
6 total reps.
Log, CJ. And then we had 2 guys splitting points here, Matt McQuiston and also Hine.
Nick Hine, yep.
Nick Hine, yeah. So we have those 2 guys had 5 reps each. Then our first 2 who went, Sam Risling and Richard Mochigemba, each had 3 reps in the log. Aiden Howell got 2 on there, and then Wilkinson had 1, and Schwant had 1. And then we're doing split times, CJ. So that's a little bit more difficult when you look at the score sheet. So if they got all the way to the keg and got it, but no log reps, they'll say how long it took them to get to the keg, and so on and so forth. So what are your takeaways right now after that? Another round of jets coming through.
Yeah, so we'll give it a second here. I'll try to talk over this a little bit as we work these fighter jets flying by us. Honestly, my biggest takeaway is, wait for it. My biggest takeaway is wait for your down commands. We saw a couple athletes get no reps waiting for the down commands on that one.
This is every producer's worst nightmare. It's having those go through. So anyways, wait for your down command.
Yes.
Is what your big takeaway is.
We saw a couple athletes try to rush through this. Again, it is split time. They were worried about the log itself. Missed down command on even the first implement.
Yep.
On that one. So that's one of the biggest things. And I believe Nick Hine did not get one of his reps from the first rep. Must have been on the down command. Because from our side of it, looked like he got 6. But with the way when they went back through, it looks like he missed one of his down commands, which cost him first place in that event.
And that's a tough thing to see too. When you thought that you could tie for first and split points at first, but I mean you're right there. So 5 and 5 for McQuiston. So Isaac Mays comes away. Looks like your winner with those 6 reps. His run was near perfect. That was a thing of beauty.
As we saw, that you could have been a more perfect run than that one. His first one was right off the belt, right to the rack position into the press, double dumbbells in one motion, clean keg, not waste energy, and then reactive pressing on the log itself, which is a crazy thing to do. You try to reactive press any log, and then Bobby Thompson's log is its own beast. Let's talk about vipering.
Yes, vipering.
Vipering that log was the highlight for me.
Hey,
so.
You got one. There
I wanted at least one. Thank you, Isaac, for the one viper on that one. That's my heart good.
As always, cards subject to change when it comes to strongman, especially when you're competing outside. And we had some mist come through earlier, a little bit of rain, so that's why we started with the overhead press medley underneath the cover there. Now we have moved back out to the beach, so the competitors are directly in front of us now, and we're going the Sandbag, Cerberus Sandbag toss for height and for distance.
For distance, I believe. So
yeah. So again, the Cerberus Sandbags, we watched them pack these with the sand and the rubber mulch from this morning. These are tightly packed.
Yes.
I mean, they were adding water to this to try to get them to be a little bit heavier. So these bags are very tight. Some of the bigger ones, maybe not as much, but they're great throwing sandbags. I have one of these at my house for myself. Because I have to train this a lot because I'm so bad at it.
By far, Cerberus makes the best throwing sandbags I've ever used in my life. Anytime I see them and I see their Cerberus bag, I'm like, I'm going to be good for a little more height every single time. So that's something I love seeing at these shows. So it's good that we have this Cerberus sponsorship.
When you have there are multiple different ways you can do this event, right? Sometimes it's a series of 4 that you're going really quick. But if you're going for any sort of max effort at all, you have a little bit of a different approach to it. How do you throw it? Are you a person who's going to get out far and jump backwards and do it? Are you going to set up a little bit in front of the implement and do it? What is your approach for this, and what you found has worked best?
I have learned, I call it the pro hop, which is a little hop and throw on that one. That's worked really well for me. Treat it more like a power clean than anything else. And that's something I found works for me. And this is one of those events I think what works best for you is going to be the best part of it.
This is Abby Deal, who is our MC over on this side. You can probably hear her voice coming through. I want to give a moment, too, to shout out to the volunteers and the reps here, the judges that are here. Obviously, Bobby Thompson is our lead judge. We have Greg Popejoy, who's out here. Beaufort, who is at every strongman event ever. Nancy Johnson is here as one of the judges as well. Really excited to see
And
Nancy.
helped loading bags all morning. She was putting sand in these bags the entire morning as well, carrying plates. Shout out to you, Nancy.
Absolutely. And Mary Colasanto is out here as well. She's an OSG winner. She's an impressive athlete in her own right. So a lot of great folks out here today helping out as a staff and judges, as well as our sponsors. Don't forget Zone Smelling Salts, Pioneer Fit, Serious Steel Fitness, along with Pig Iron Metalworks, who we'll have the frame from later. Dante Petrello, of course. Born Primitive. I know you're a Born Primitive fan.
I love me my Born Primitive.
And I was so upset because it was chilly this morning. I have my jorts already, but I'm
I
a
have my
little bit
jorts.
chilly.
My jorts are in the room, ready to go. I've also got their one of their stretchy shirts for the over the top. So
I like
I'll be
it.
wearing that to the after party. Don't worry. So love me some Born
You
Primitive.
gotta love it. Caffeine and Kilo. I think an after party for Strongman is just a buffet.
Yeah,
really, that's what it feels like to me.
Anywhere I can eat is after party. Okay.
And as always, Caffeine and Kilos and Stronger Together as well. There's also a charity partner, Canine for Warriors. I love foundations like that, helping train dogs for service members who need them. So really excellent charity partner there. And the original stick as well. So again, so many excellent sponsors, and Cerberus being our main title sponsor. Why you're seeing the Cerberus bags. And you'll hear the leaf blower now.
That's how you know we're almost ready. When we're leaf blowing down the field. Getting that sand off there ready to go. Because these bags get tossed into the sand, so every time the leaf blower sets up for the next athlete.
But it's easy to fall doing these anyway when it's like a max effort. You can easily slip. They are set up on the beach on the horse stall mats. They're all taped together. But trying to make this as safe as possible on an outdoor event is tough to do.
It's very hard to do. But I think the Pro Strongman did a great job of keeping the athletes in mind, changing the card as necessary for this one, choosing the order properly, waiting for the weather to be better so we can come to the beach on that. And athletes always come first.
Absolutely.
That's the most important thing. These athletes want to be as safe as possible. They're putting their bodies on the line every single time. And I got to say one thing real fast. It's nothing to do with the athletes. The fact that Aiden is walking around with a 2-liter of Code Red Mountain Dew right now in between events.
Y'all, I wish you could see this right now. What we are saying, that is not a wig. That grows in naturally
It
like
does.
that. He cuts it right there. As somebody who also has a natural mullet, I love it. But he has a massive 2-liter of Code Red Mountain
Code
Dew.
Red Mountain. He lives on chocolate milk and Code Red Mountain Dew. That's apparently that's the diet of champions.
If he's not your favorite competitor, I am questioning a lot of your choices in life. So, oh yeah, we're live right there.
Yeah, so he's pointing
Athletes
up.
trying to find places to sit out here on the beach.
It's hard to find sometimes with this, but
Absolutely.
they're
But
popping up.
if you've ever done an outdoor competition, they're so fun, but they do present a lot of variables. That's why you always, in the gym, train harder and heavier than you think you would have to be.
If possible, yeah.
Absolutely. So
And again, we saw some of the athletes have trouble getting the equipment for training, like we talked about with Jacob McBride. Never got over 100-pound dumbbells, and we saw that with the 130 on here. But we're back into it now.
Getting ready. You guys are all lining up.
Yep.
Trying to reorder our athletes, I believe, as well. I think we're going to reorder between each of these.
Yes, and I believe Mike Lagikis will be up first.
Again, if you're following us along on the YouTube channel, please make sure you subscribe to Pro Strongman League. Again, one of the easiest ways to help contribute is come out if you're around here, come support, show up as a fan. We got some fans out here as well.
If you're around this area, we got 2 shows tomorrow.
Absolutely, 2 shows tomorrow. The Barbecue food truck is out here. Stronger Together booth is out here. Yeah, I don't know if you heard Abby through our microphones. Mike, Eric, and Jake.
Mike, Eric, and then Jake are up next.
That's where we're going to go. So
It's
Jacob
perfect.
McBride, of course. Shorts, hard to miss.
Yep.
Shorts and the tank top. I always love the fashion choices out here, right?
Yeah,
you specifically.
if anyone knows fashion, it has to be me on this one. So I like how Jacob's shorts match my glasses. That's important. I'm glad he thought of that.
He really did think of that. Did you guys plan that ahead of time?
Unfortunately not. But
no.
He's just trying to piggyback a little bit off what I'm doing. So.
All right, Mike Lagakis is going to be our first competitor.
Yep. So I have a 35-pound sandbag.
Again, starting at the implement.
Yes. Yep. So this is an athlete I talked to him earlier. Sandbag toss is not his favorite. That's what he told me.
For some people, that is their favorite. Again, come on.
Well, you can see in the way he's tossing as well. He's a little bit more reluctant.
Yeah.
On each of those tosses. That's one of the biggest things. He's watching it the
Yeah.
whole time. You'll see some of the better tossers not even look where it's going.
Right. And
they
you can
just
see
know.
he's kind of shorting himself a little bit on that first dip, or right when he's about to watch him. What's hard to get through is letting the bag pull you back through. And using that, it's a lot of hip drive. It's a lot of Olympic lifters are pretty good at this.
Yeah.
Normally.
Again, I think of it more like a power clean. I don't use as much.
Oh.
That had the height, just not the distance.
Oh, And it is so tiring if you
Yep.
miss it that first
And
time.
it's just like disheartening after the third toss. You're like, can we just not?
Oh man, the worst is when it's a backboard and you hear it just smack the backboard, or it sits on top.
Yeah.
Now normally
And,
if it's
and you're like hoping it just like, please
Yeah.
flip over.
at Nationals, mine sat on top and then came back down on the front side. I was like, ah. And actually, if you see Dane, who's sweeping right now, Dane was at the Baltimore qualifier. If you follow him, Dane Trains, he does a really wonderful charity calendar with dogs.
I have one.
Yes,
I do
it's
have one.
just so wonderful. Please follow them. They're trying to raise $1,000.
Damon Curtis came out to Colorado and he gave me one. I'm just like, this is exactly
Yes.
what I need to put on my fridge.
Absolutely. I'm sorry, but Strongman with dogs, ladies, how could you not want that on your wall?
And men.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, a little bit more intentional approach right here.
Eric Olstead is going to be up.
Olmstead, yeah.
Olmstead, yeah, sorry about
He's
that.
approaching that sandbag with authority.
It's a high bar.
Oh,
he
nice.
It's an athlete that knows his limits.
Exactly.
It's one of those things. He knows is like, my goal is not to get through all these bags. My goal is to use my energy best I can to get the most of these bags.
Self-awareness in Strongman is very, very important.
Yes.
Oh,
and
my
right on the
goodness.
crossbar. The worst sound is the crossbar
The
hit.
ding. Oh.
Oh.
Or if it comes back and hits you in the face. That's always difficult. There it is.
There we
that
go.
Was a
That was a good toss.
Beautiful throw.
Athlete's massive back is in the way, so now we can actually get a good view of everything.
Oh, he got 3. That one was a beautiful
Yep.
too.
Again,
10 seconds to go. Oh, that
oh,
one
the
had
height was there.
man.
He's needed a little bit tighter to the implement itself. He's got to go now.
It's got to be out of your hands.
Oh.
Hey, you know what? He's smiling. He's happy. I think that was probably better than he expected to do.
Yes, 100%. I think there was definitely probably a PR for him, honestly. The way he approached each one of them. Again, very methodical, and an athlete that knows exactly what he needs to do. All right, so Jacob Hari is how
Hari.
they pronounce the
That's
name.
how Yanni pronounced it, so
Yeah.
I'm going to go with it and blame Yanni if we're wrong.
If Yanni's wrong, it's on him at this point. So Hari.
Jacob Hari is going to be our next competitor. If
And
you see the judges out there, Mary Colasanto along with Nancy Johnson, and they're trying to measure for that distance as well.
Yes,
So
I believe that's how they're doing the tiebreakers.
Yes.
What bag you get to and how far that heaviest bag gets on that. So again, this is one of those ones where it's important you walk to the implement itself. 'Cause a lot of times it's split time is what they utilize, how fast you get each bag over. Not here at the Cerberus Super Series. It's more about how far you can toss that bag.
Because again, if you've ever done the bag toss, typically if this is your first time ever doing it, you've seen people do it, how they do it. Sometimes you stand right up against the implement, you just want to get it over. But there's a different strategy for getting it over and getting it farther
Correct.
back, and
Yeah.
that's a little bit more difficult.
And a lot of times if you're a good bag toss, you toss in the line, it doesn't go very far. You're not trying to get it very far. Now this
Right.
is an extra element on top, so you're trying to get your heaviest bag the farthest possible as well.
So the way he sets up is a very Highland Games motion, the
Yep.
one-hand swing, like a weight over bar.
Yeah, very smooth, very consistent. He's done this before. Yep.
Looking good.
No wasted energy. And he's up to the 50-pound bag already.
Being very intentional.
Yep. Yep. Oh, just bounces back off. He's got the height. He'll get it on this next one. 50 pounds.
There it
Yep.
is.
Very good
Our
toss.
First one to get to the 50.
And eyes on the 55-pound. And bags get heavy quick
Oh my goodness. 5 pounds never sounds like a lot unless it's on this, in which
Until
case
you're-
it feels about 20.
until you're about to toss it. And there it is. He gets the
there it
55
is.
over. A little bit in. That's great.
One good throw is all you needed right there.
Wow.
Nice run. Our first competitor to get to the 4th bag and throw it and complete it, and then get all 5 bags
Yes.
in that series. So,
So-
love to see that.
Blake Ditas, the person
Okay.
I've been hyping for a while now. So
We'll
we're.
see, man. You made a bold call.
I did.
He made a bold call, actually, to use, so we'll start there.
He said these were light. He said these were light bags for him.
Light bags.
So this is light work for his guy. Again, Highlands background, very good athlete. Never seen a sandbag he didn't want to throw.
So we'll see how far he can get that. What you want to
Yep.
you want to take bets at least, like, for the first look at it. Look at this runner's stance here.
This man is ready to launch. He's launching the first 3 from the line. Is
15
my
feet now.
yeah.
15 feet over and maybe 20 feet back.
As I just said, launching the first one from the line. Yep, this we're
One
seeing
little
the
misstep. But
oh, nice to chase
and
it down.
that's what's hard. You're running in the sand too.
Yes.
After that,
So
that's
the
just,
bag a little
oh.
heavy, and it was sliding a little bit because of that wet surface. Got plenty of time.
You got that little hop you're talking about,
Yep,
right?
the little pro hop. Oh man, I think the surface is starting to bother him a little bit.
Yep,
That
little bit.
little bit of moisture, a little bit of sand on there, so he's not getting as much grip as he's normally used to.
And then also you're coming off that press medley
Yeah,
where there was a
fatigue.
lot of energy. There wasn't much time between these events. In fact, Tyler even told them when they were warming up, Tyler Purdue, who's the promoter for this, he's like, hey guys, you just put 300 pounds over your head. You don't need time to warm up.
Yeah. Oh,
Ooh.
he burnt himself out there. He's not happy. He is
No.
not happy with that
Can't
one.
be happy with that event.
It's okay. Luckily, there are 7 more events before even the finals.
There you go.
So plenty of time to make up points on that one.
One of our more colorful
Yeah.
competitors, Jacob McBride, coming up next.
What country do you think he's from?
I have no idea. I think it's Peru. Perhaps South Africa. No, you'll love to see it.
I love when people athletes that show their personality. And sometimes your personality isn't bright colors, and that's okay too.
And that's okay. What's nice too is where we're set up. I love seeing people kind of randomly walk by, like, what is going on here
Yep.
today? Love this venue for its accessibility to get new people into the strongman world. And when you see people like Jacob McBride here, it's like, oh, what is that? That makes it a little bit more interesting, more
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. There we go. Athlete is off now. Jacob McBride very methodical in this one. Doing a little shuffle there to get these bags over.
And I'm
And
curious
again-
too about footwear, CJ. What do you wear? Do you wear? Some people wear lifters. Some people wear their flat shoes.
I like my lifters personally on this one, especially the heavier bags. A little more triple extension helps me out a lot on the sandbag toss. But I can get away with some Reebok Nanos. It's something I like to wear as well. There's little small heel to toe lift, but I just like that little extra height.
Yeah.
I'm a little vertically challenged.
I
So-
think it depends on the surface too that you're throwing on. Anything that might have a little bit more grip to keep. Oh.
Yeah. And I don't think you can hear it at home, but we can hear Jacob's shoes squeaking
Yeah.
ever so slightly with that slide. So again, as I showing that surface is a little wet. Wow, getting that 45 over is big for Jacob right there.
Again, one of the lighter competitors that's
Yes.
filling out this class for the.
And I think I would personally say nope on
Yeah,
that one,
and
as he
there-
just did.
as he just did. There you
It's like,
go.
why am I chasing this down? Why am I getting sand in my shoes for this?
For the metric system disinclined folks, Team Imperial all day long, these are the 105 kg. So
Yep.
multiply that by 2.204 and you get out to about the 231
231, yep.
231 class.
231.1.4 or less, I
Yes.
believe.
And the 82 kilo women are going tomorrow, which is your 180 class and below. So that's the weight class. that you can't- you have-
180.8.
Yes, you have to be below that, right? At
Yes.
or below that. So that's how those weight classes work out. But again, kilos, if you're a family member just watching this for the first time and you're like, what are kilos? Multiply it by 2.204. You can generally get roughly what that is
Yeah.
in pounds.
And we saw our most retrieved athlete, I believe, weighed in about 6 pounds underweight.
Yeah.
So he was the lightest athlete by far in this one. So the fact he's out here battling everything while he's been doing a bunch of shows lately.
So I like this right here. What's happening right now? As an athlete, you are allowed to get out onto the field and set your implements how you want them.
Mm-hmm.
That is extremely important. You probably saw it with some people doing it in the overhead press medley, setting it up how they wanted to. But he's definitely walking through, making those bags
Yes.
exactly how he wants.
Yep. And this is Damon Curtis is up right now. Again, an athlete that was a little nervous about this event originally, but so setting those bags hopefully made him feel better. And I don't know why he was too nervous, because that was a lot of height.
Well, it was a lot
that
of height,
time.
but it didn't have much distance on it. So I
Yes.
think he released it a little bit early, so it didn't get that.
Yeah.
And
And that had a lot of distance.
overcompensating.
And not a lot of height on that one, unfortunately. He's got a deep tuck on that. I'm not a huge fan of that deep tuck. I like to keep it tighter to the body, treat it more like a power clean. But I'm also gifted with these longer arms that I can get away with that.
Yeah. It's tough because this is where a lot of people, if you're first throwing this, you're going to throw it forward, and you're not going to get it to that backward motion.
Yes.
That's very tough to figure that part
It's
out.
definitely an arc, is what you're trying to create. And come on, Damon. You've gotten it so close so many times. There we
There
go.
it is.
Good. You got time. You gotta go. You gotta move a little bit though.
One good throw, man.
Oh.
Oh, man.
You got 2. He's on the board. That's what matters right now. Again,
Yeah,
there's
get on the board. Get you some points.
9 total events before the finals event. So we're on event 2. No matter where you are, it can all be shaken up so quickly with 16 points up for grabs on every single one of these events.
And another place where people kind of mess up, they treat this almost like a kettlebell swing.
Yes, that's where
It's
a big mistake.
Very different motion with this.
That's why I keep bringing up the power clean.
Exactly. It's more of a pull your shoulders up and you're
Yep.
lifting it that way
Yeah,
versus
extend through.
just extending out, and that's where people mess up. And you fall forward, you throw it forward, you throw it
Yes.
straight up.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing to learn.
Good height on that one right there. That's a great toss there. Again, another athlete with some decent style with those pants. I'm going to throw that out there before we get too deep in this.
Sky Olsen, our competitor.
Clean tosses, consistent. And we're
Getting
getting
on the first try, too, which is very
Yep.
helpful.
But now we're getting to the point where he knows these numbers. Now he's got to try to get a little extra distance on that one. Looks like he just released it a little bit early on that because I think you can get it. The hardest part is when that sand gets right where you want to toss.
Exactly.
Because you're trying to dig your feet in and push through, and if you slide a little bit, you miss out on that power output.
And every time you're jumping back out into the sand to retrieve it, gotta retrieve it yourself.
It's more sand, yeah.
More sand. Oh, that one
had the height, just the distance.
He shorted himself on that one.
Yeah.
You see people release it like they kind of.
It's that rush
yep.
factor. Looks like Matt Powell is up next. Yeah, we saw the last athlete actually use smelling salts before this event. Is that something you would utilize before?
You know what's funny is like for this not so much. For a max event, I want to get my head out of things, and people wonder like, what are smelling salts? What does it do for you? I was like, it jolts you awake real quick, and then it makes your brain stop thinking. And usually, what you have to do to get calm your nerves is stop thinking.
Yes.
That's the hardest thing to do.
It primes that nervous system. This is not an event I want to be moving quickly on, so I want to keep as calm as possible.
Interesting approach here.
It worked for him.
Yeah.
No complaints for Matt Powell over there.
Yeah.
Hip hop. They do a nice toss.
Great distance. Ooh.
Yeah.
It's almost like croquet back there.
That's what it feels like. There we go.
Excellent.
And regardless, I believe that's the farthest bag through 3 bags as far as distance goes.
We've only had one athlete get all 5.
Yes. We've had a lot of athletes get the 3, and this 4th one through.
So he's already in a great position right now, getting that 4th bag.
Yep, a lot of good points up for grabs on this one, getting this 5th bag. So he's trying to tie and get a little extra distance here. But it's one of those things you can't really gauge.
Nice!
And
there we go!
So now it's just going to matter how far he threw that one as well. But Matt, great job on that one. Very much in control.
Very much in control. That was a beautiful run. Again, very calm. It was controlled. It wasn't getting too excited. Those first throws every time didn't have to run and go retrieve anything. Very intentional by Powell. Great run right there. Got to go over and kiss the spouse over there. Make sure the families that show up, the families that are on the live stream, you guys do the most. Absolutely. I always love folks coming out here all day to support their friends and family, significant others. You really love to see it.
Yep, I believe
Bobby just gave first place. He just said first place.
Yep, with the distance. Yep, the distance on top of that one. So that broke right there. Again, that extra little bit of landing point, little bit of height on that one. Up next, we have Chris Schwant.
Oh, nice throw on that first one.
Very explosive on these ones. He's got a lot of pop
Love it.
out of those hips as he's going through.
A little bit of a hop on there, too.
Yeah.
Gets through 3. See how he does on this 50-pound.
He's got plenty of time. He's got 40 seconds out of these last 2 bags. So if he gets this one clean.
Well, what's lucky for him there is it didn't go into the sand.
Yes,
Very short
it bounced
retrieval.
off after. And no added like slippage possibility with the
Exactly.
sand. Because, again, that grip is important. As we speak, the sand, he thought it might have gone over. It did not go over.
It's Judge Andrew Clayton over there.
Oh, he keeps hitting that crossbar.
That's tough, too. Oh, that's hard.
And because it's a crossbar today, not like a board, you're not getting any flip over.
Exactly. Usually you can like flip up the board. You can see that happen. Or
But-
if it sits on top, you're good.
Yeah. Now we're at the point where,
Great run, though.
That was a good run.
Especially those first 3.
Again,
really
he had good
solid.
distance on that 3rd one, which is going to be key factors on these tiebreaker points. So he's not going to be split. There's no way to, almost no way to split points. I'm sure we might find a way to get this exact same distance here for somebody, but there's almost impossible to split points, which I really enjoy that there's a secondary tiebreaker.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that's not for time. It's something different we don't normally see.
Something different, yeah. And
I believe this is Vince Wilkinson is up now. Very good height on that first bag. But it's one of those things like, I feel like the first bag you should try to barely get over. Save some energy for those later bags.
he's got the little hop back, too. That you.
Big fan of the hop back.
That popped right over that crossbar.
Yep, he got enough spin on it, which is good. He's
That
using
was
his,
better than his third one.
he is using his long arm length to his advantage. You can see it's barely in his fingertips
30
as he's
seconds
about to release.
left for this. He's got a lot of time.
And he gets that tight. That is your new leader.
Well, the distance may not be there.
No, his distance was better than the
Distance,
previous.
yeah.
Yes, I've been watching this one. That is going to be a new leader based on distance as well.
And
He got a lucky roll though, honestly,
he got a
with
lucky roll, but then also that his time on that was just so fast.
So
He still
clean.
had about 25 seconds left.
It's all those ones that, like, I almost would want. Once you're in that rhythm, you want to continue that rhythm.
There's nothing to stop that. Just
Yeah.
keep that going. You're in a good spot.
Yeah.
No Mountain Dew right now, but Aiden Howell's up here. Which anybody on the beach right now, he is their favorite competitor.
It has
Just
to be.
look at this guy. And it's fun because, again, you have people walking up and down the beautiful beach right here, Virginia Beach, and stopping and watching, maybe thinking, hey, I want to do that.
If you see a mullet flying, you know it's a good view. That's all I'm saying. Mullet flying, Mountain Dew chugging, 21-year-old right now, up there on that first bag. And again, he's one of those
Almost
super
from the
explosive
line.
athletes. Oh, gotta go in order, bud. Yep. Not used to this event again. Probably the first time he's had to throw sandbags. Besides, I think he did this at nationals as well, though. But
Yeah,
one of
it was an event at Nationals this past
Yes.
year for Strongman
so,
Corp.
so he is one of those athletes. I think it doesn't toss too much, but it looks like he has again such an explosive athlete.
He's getting great points right now. Even getting to that fourth bag over, that puts
Yes.
you in the top 3 at this moment.
Now he's got to try to get that extra distance as well. Not that way. He's got to get over the bar with it. And he didn't. And again, as much as I want to say that Vince set up those bags in a proper way to get that roll, I'm not sure he did reciprocally, but it's really helpful for them there. And now he's just rushing
he's
through
tired now at this point. But
Yep.
at 21, do you ever get really tired? I
Yeah,
mean, come
right.
on.
With enough Mountain Dew, anything is possible.
Be all over this like Mountain Dew. God bless. His shoes would match your outfit too. You should
It
probably
would.
consider.
Again,
you got your
it's-
Cars shoes on. Your
I
Cars
do
Crocs.
have my Cars Crocs on there. They do light up. That's important for today too. Ka-chow for everyone back home.
You knew it was coming, fellas. Great run there by
That was a great
Aiden.
run. Through 4 bags out of 5, so you can't beat that. And again, good distance on that 4th bag.
Sam Rissling, I believe.
Good
is
showing.
gonna be our next
We saw
competitor.
he was the first athlete to go in the first event, so he set the bar.
And isn't that tough? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
and they drew for that, right?
Yeah.
That wasn't any sort of, that was just a randomized thing, and you got to go first in an overhead
Yes.
press medley.
And it seemed he did a good job setting the bar. It kind of set everyone else up for that. Oh, this is not going to be too bad. But then we saw a lot of athletes kind of struggle on those. So he's
Oh.
pulling 2 bags at a time.
That's the first athlete to do this. Have that strategy so he doesn't have to walk too far.
Yes.
Nice.
Again, very explosive, very methodical, very set up for these.
I
he's
like this strategery here.
Yeah. Oh, hits the crossbar, unfortunately, on that one.
That's
A
tough.
little late release. That's all that happened there. It's a little timing game with this. And again, he's doing more of that power clean mindset. Not
was
too much,
pretty
not
low.
too much of a tuck, going directly under his body, really exploding through. If he just timed those hands a little bit better, again, that slightly, he cut his arm short, like
Yep.
T-Rex did.
It's a T-Rex. Yes, that's exactly what I was trying to think of. That's a great
Yes.
way to put it. When you T-Rex it, you short yourself.
There,
Oh, that hurts.
he needs to just extend a little bit higher, like wait, like that mark to get his arms just slightly above.
Uh,
T-Rex hates bag toss.
that's factual, actually. I think
Yeah.
I've read that in a book somewhere.
I believe so. It's
We like to break mental sweats here, too, folks. Read it in the book.
as long as there's pictures, I'll read it.
Richie Moochie Gamba.
Again, one of the athletes that was very excited about this bag toss. So,
Richie the Texas Brute. If you are Richie the Brute on Instagrams, on the gram, you want to follow him.
again, and one of those athletes that is a quiet killer. He's won't talk much, but he'll do a lot.
I love those.
Yes. World record toss holder is up right now.
My
So,
goodness.
a lot of pressure on this
Expect to
event.
see some excitement here.
And he knows his job. He understands the assignment. He's just going to launch.
He could have gotten that over 20 feet.
Oh,
That was
25 maybe if you had to push him.
unbelievable. Again, methodical is a good way to describe what he's doing right now.
Yeah.
Everything looks exactly the same.
If
Each
we
time
were
dragging
talking,
it,
yeah, everything's hitting right. If you talk about that power clean motion right now, it is explosive.
but again, look at him dragging the implement versus picking it up.
Yep.
That's something that's a little bit different than everybody else has been doing.
Well, it also flattens out the bag.
Yes. Oh.
Flips it over. We'll see if that's a new leader. That bag rolled a little bit. It would be close to him and Vince.
Yeah, when I hit that crossbar, it was rolling over.
And it rolled the bag a little bit farther. I don't think
further.
he planned that, but it is a happy accident.
There are no mistakes here, folks.
Just
Only
happy.
happy accidents.
That's what my parents told me.
I was a happy accident too. Don't worry about it.
I never do.
All right, moving up now to, I believe we have
Matt McQuiston.
McQuiston. All right.
Matt's whose back was blocking those first few athletes. How big it was over here sitting in front of us.
Oh, my goodness.
So he's going to use that back now to hopefully get some height on these bags, some distance followed by it. They called him the Terminator a second ago, so that's what he's looking like right now, ready to kill those bags. And 25 feet probably on that toss.
Easily.
Again, one of our taller athletes, though.
It is. That's a distinct advantage for any type of bag toss. Again, this is 15 feet is where the bar is.
And he's at least 8 feet tall, so.
I think my husband flew one of those at one point, potentially.
A little chopper going by with everything here.
A little helo.
What we're seeing right now is this athlete put chalk on his hands for this event.
Yes. I believe Aiden did as well, and again, it was wet earlier, but it has since dried out for a long time.
Yeah.
But getting that extra grip could help or hurt, depending on.
Oh, he's just too far under the bar.
He needs to take one step out. He's
right
got
there. 15 seconds. He's got time.
And you know what? That's a great athlete right there. He's got time. 15 is a long period of time. He took his time to get set.
Oh, he still just gets a little bit under it. But still, 4 bags for good distance so far. Puts him probably in the top 5.
Yep.
So Richie got the distance on that one.
Richie did get the distance. New leader. So I believe that's 3 or 4 athletes now that have gotten all 5.
Yes. But Richie has the farthest distance. There hasn't been 4 athletes, to my knowledge, getting all 5.
But Richie's in a really good position because he also, of those that got the 5 bags, he had the most reps of those folks in the overhead press medley. So, I mean, he's already ahead of them in points.
Yes.
And so he
kind of bring that lead a little bit farther. There's still 2 athletes to go.
Still 2 athletes to go. So
you're tied with Matt on the previous events. If you can get through these 4 bags in good distance, that'll keep him in the running with Matt currently. But if you can get all 5 bags, that'll start giving him a little bit of break between there because they split points in that first event. Very good height on that first one.
Look, he's taking it into the left hand. 1 swing, 2.
I'm not a fan of the double swing. It's that doubt.
Yep.
But if it works for him, and that's the kind of thing that happens with those swings, you start thinking. This one of those events you can't think on.
Don't think, just throw.
Yeah. Full yeet is what I say. Full yeet.
Don't think, it can only hurt the ball club.
Yep.
He got that third one. He doesn't look happy with himself, though.
The first year I ever did sandbag toss was OSG, I believe, 2021. Andrew Hanus, one of the best bag tossers in the world, was going before me, and he's like, CJ, what's your plan for this? I'm like, yeet and pray. And that's my bag toss strategy ever since.
Watching Andrew do a sandbag toss.
It's a thing of beauty.
Come on,
it was the year him and Tommy Lovell raced each other on the sandbag toss, and it was the most beautiful toss series I've ever seen. Great tosses by Nick Hine out there as well. We'll see how the distance goes between him and Matt.
Right.
That's going to be big for to kill that point split.
Man, you saw his face, too. It was so close, and it's just, crestfallen.
Yep.
Watching that one come right back down on him. But still, getting those 4 bags is good. There's going to be some tight points.
Isaac May is your current leader.
Again, he had a nearly perfect run on that grueling overhead press medley, and see him look flattening out the bags, setting
Very
them pretty
important.
well.
That's why I think the slide was so important that Richie was doing.
Yes.
Kept the bags flat, keep them more advantageous shape. The shape does matter with all this. Isaac Mays is a 1.5 point lead currently on second place, and now he's up for this toss. If he can get all 5 bags in, get good distance, he can expand on that lead.
Beautiful first 2.
Landing in the same exact spot. We'll cut that one short. Late release on that, but still enough power.
Oh, he's getting that spin.
He's getting the spin off there now.
Plenty of time to chill, relax, and figure out. Look at him taking his time.
This is a seasoned veteran, Isaac Mays, and knows this. His best chance of that first toss, and he gets the first toss.
My goodness.
That's a top 3 finish. That's a top 3 finish. Depends how far the distance is.
All right, wow. Isaac Mays coming out strong.
Great
Again,
run.
he will be in our top 3
For sure.
competitors after winning the overhead press medley. He'll be in the top 3 on that. And it sounds like sandbag to shoulder is going to be the next one, CJ.
Oh man, sandbag to shoulder. That is a fun event, but these bags are brutal today.
These bags
They're
are.
so tight that they're gonna need to keep it on them. I know some of the athletes, like I said, Isaac was talking about the sandbag to shoulder. He's a little worried about that one because the way the bags are packed.
Absolutely. We packed them all this morning. They're tight bags. We'll see how it all goes for everybody. We are live in Virginia Beach, Virginia, the Cerberus Super Series Pro Strongman League 105kg class, day 1. We'll be back here in just a moment.
Athletes ready. Gentlemen
Through our struggles, there are opportunities. Opportunities that can change us and change the world. Born out of risk, strife, persistence, and triumph, our achievements define us as humans. From the bottom, we can rise. Risen, we can dominate. We are strong. We are pioneer. Through our struggles, there are opportunities. Opportunities that can change us and change the world. Born out of risk, strife, persistence, and triumph, our achievements define us as humans. From the bottom, we can rise. Risen, we can dominate. We are strong. We are pioneer.
Athletes ready. Gentlemen
Welcome back to Virginia Beach, Virginia, the site of the Cerberus Super Series Pro Strongman League 105kg Day 1. Jen Bates, CJ Krause here. Watching right now, we are set up on the beach and we're watching the setup of the squat implement. We're not going to squat next, but this is an impressive looking setup.
Oh, I can't wait to get that and show it. I've been talking about that one since we started. But
My goodness.
up next, we have our Sandbag to Shoulder series. So that's going to be a challenging one, especially this was supposed to be one of the earlier events. Now we're coming into it in the middle of the day. I think the hardest part so far today is they've already gotten rid of what I call their break event, which is the sandbag toss.
Right.
It is the least taxing of these 5 events we have going on today. So now they've done 2 events, they have 3 more to go, and they're all going to be tough.
Absolutely going to be tough. And also when you look at the weights on these sandbags, there's a couple that are like, okay, that's doable, but once you get to the, I believe the third one is
300 pounds.
300 pounds to your shoulder.
Yes. So 250, 275, 300, and the final bag is 325 pounds to finish up with that. And again, it's not so much the weight of the bags that are going to challenge these athletes, it's the diameter, how much bigger they get. Again, I was talking with Isaac earlier. He bring this up. He is a little nervous how they're packed to get it to his shoulder. We're going to see so many different techniques on this. I'm so excited for it. When you pick up sandbags, do you pick them up long ways, sideways? Are you hamburger or hot dog?
Exactly. I'm a hot dog. Push it forward and then drag the sides and get it into your lap, and I squat down as far as I can to get my hands lower. It depends on the weight of the bag. For some of them, I know guys like to do them a little bit. Was this hot dog? Which one do you?
I call this hamburger and the side hot dog, but
hot dog. So then
you're a burger. You're a burger girl.
I like to push it
my
forward.
My counterpoint to what you're thinking. Have you ever tried pulling the bag towards you?
Interesting.
On that one. The reason I say that, I hope we see this technique happen today. You want to pull the bag towards you so the weight of the sand is at the bottom of the bag when it's vertical.
Okay.
If you pull it towards you to flip it, the weight actually flips for you, not against you.
Interesting.
On that one. If you push it forward, you have the heaviest point on your lap.
Okay.
So what I tell people with the sandbag to shoulder, you don't commit to the bag until you're ready to go full send. Because the second you move that bag, all that sand will shift, and the faster you can manipulate that, like I said, pulling it towards you for that hamburger style flip makes the flip help you versus if you push it away from you, it's heavier in the lap.
He's not just hair and suits, people. He knows a few things, a thing or two about Strongman. Again, you're going to hear the jets going above us in just a moment.
Every time we get on at the start of this one.
It just wants to shut us up, and that's fine. So we'll take a second as we get ready for the sandbag to shoulder. Oh, you gotta love it, being close to any sort of Air Force base, Army base, any sort of military base, but especially here, them flying overhead. So you have those jets going by every once in a while, but it is a beautiful venue here, the 17th Street Park in Virginia Beach, Virginia. So the crew is up at the stage right now, so that's where we're going to take you in just a few moments. We should get going here. Again, trying to move really quickly between these events, the first 5 for the day. We've done the overhead press medley. We just finished up with the sandbag toss for height and distance, and now going on to the sandbag to shoulder, which is always a different event. Again, if you get it stuck here and you're trying to pop it, you really want to get that as quickly as possible. But there are going to be a lot of different techniques now.
Yes, I'm excited to see one of the new techniques that kind of blew up on Instagram and social media is going to be where they get their body over the top of the bag and reach over and just rotate it on top of it. I want to see if anybody takes that technique. I've seen a lot of the 105s trying it online, and I'm not sure if it's internet craze or not, but I think some of the athletes with these last bag, we might see the vertical stand in the insta flip on that one.
Almost reminds me of Angelica Jardine recently. I think it was the Arnold when they had the stone to shoulder. everybody
Yes.
else on that, and she absolutely crushed it. It was very much rolling it up her body
Yes.
versus trying to lap it and then pop it up.
It's the downside of that. It is all lower back on that flip, which will take a lot of energy out for tomorrow's deadlift ladder.
And it's also very similar to that keg press that we just did not so long ago. So
Correct on that.
interesting. They're looking at the stage as they're setting up for those 4 sandbags, and again, they're going to have to bounce around a little bit. There is some movement. It's not all in a row.
Yes.
In a line, they're going to have to bounce around it.
So they have to reset their feet every single time versus when they're in a line, it's kind of you can drop and dump behind you and just go to the next one. Now we're getting through. And one thing we have to watch out for is the athletes over cleaning. Getting too much force on those lighter bags where it falls behind them. They need full control. Again, Bobby Thompson is the judge. Very important. He is very strict but very clear on what he's looking for on this one. Listen, the first athlete is up now. I believe they're going to tell us who is up here in a second. We can't really see from here our site right now. All right, and look.
Nick Legakis?
Yep, Nick Legakis is up right now. Very fast with that 250-pound bag. Again, doing that push forward technique, I disagree with it now that I've trained the pull backwards on that one. So
Because that's how he's doing it, exactly how I have done
Nice
it.
control at the top.
correct. No.
And doing it that way. So I'm intrigued to try.
Similar
because
to our
the-
first event.
We're seeing right now with that problem. You see how much weight there is at the bottom of the bag. It's going against him right now. So the heaviest part of the bag is now trying not to go to his shoulder.
Okay.
Versus when you pull it into you, the heaviest part of the bag is going to your shoulder.
Okay.
On that, we saw a lot of athletes at our official Strongman games last year, 2 years ago, on that one 2 years ago use it
20
to get that
seconds.
flip to the top. And again, see the heaviest part of the bag is underneath him.
Right, and the hardest part is when you're trying to pull it up
Audience,
into
help
your
him out,
lap.
make some noise.
Like,
10,
you just have
9,
to sit back.
8,
Don't get
7,
clean on that.
6,
Wrap your arms
5,
around
4,
it. You gotta get really
3.
It's almost like a living implement because it just moves and shifts as you're going through.
Even if it's packed tight,
Yes.
it still is going to shift around on you. When it's floppy though, that's also pretty
Yeah.
difficult.
It's a fine line. You just want to like pack just enough but not too much.
And I imagine they're making them all set the bags.
Vertical.
Sometimes you can, on some events, you can set the sandbag how you'd want that
Yes.
to be set. But for this one specifically, everybody's going.
It's going to be labels across and facing forward. They're all going to be set exactly for each of the same athletes. Pro Strongman League is very clear on how they want it as much and as fair as possible for each athlete.
Go!
I believe this is Damon Curtis is up next. So we have Damon Curtis up here. Very quick touch. Doing the opposite side of the shoulder.
Thanks again for everybody.
Yeah, I'm a
joining us
left
today at
shoulder.
the Cerberus Super Series
I'm
presented by
lefty
Pro
with that one, just a
Strongman
weird
League.
way my brain works on that. And he's going the hot dog style is what I call it. Very powerful. It went above his shoulder and caught it in a jerk technique with that one. For 275 pounds, that is impressive. On that 300-pound bag,
35 seconds to go.
again, disagree with pushing it and then waiting. Because again, that sand will settle. But it did not slow him down at all.
35 seconds. 5 seconds.
Yeah. As we just saw him pull it back into himself right here. So now the weight is now helping him flip. So the heaviest part of the bag is now at the top. And the quicker he gets into his shoulder, the more it's going to flip. And it helped him get it to the shoulder by pulling it towards himself on that one. So great job, Damon, on that technique that we were talking about there that a lot of people don't think about when they go into it. And it's a small detail that I believe what got that bag over his lap in that position, and he was powerful enough to get the hips through. So awesome work in a 325-pound bag on that.
I'll always like to point out to people who are new to Strongman who might be watching this and really want to try some of these things out. Sandbags are an easy thing to, at most gyms to find. Typically, you'll find a sandbag somewhere, so definitely play around with it. Your fingers are going to hurt real bad afterward if you go to pick it a few times, but it's really just actually getting that implement, I think, is important.
Yes.
So you missed the spot.
Figure out how to learn with those sandbags. And if you're just starting in a local competition, ask
Athlete
all the
ready.
questions about setup.
Judges
Just talk
ready.
about setup again. Ask all the questions, even
Yes.
before you go of your judge. Please feel free to do all of that.
And with those biceps, it is Jacob McBride is up now. Guns out. Sun's coming out too.
Sun's coming out.
Yeah, the arm
Guns
needs
out
to be
first.
out. 50 seconds to go.
Jacob, hard to miss with those shorts.
Very good with that long style we talked about. I call it the hot dog style on there.
You got 40 seconds to go.
Again, I like how he's deliberate, not letting the sand settle. So when he goes to spin it, he has the most advantageous rotation on this. And then
Bobby's so wide. He's
yeah,
just blocking the cameras.
he blocks the athlete.
Dante, who's running the production, he's just smiling. He's just smirking over there. He's like, man, get out of my shot, Bobby Thompson.
He blends in with the bags actually.
20 seconds, audience, make some noise.
Oh, looks like he got to the lap.
Let him know you want to see him get this.
It's a big roll. And at this point, again, tax from that double dumbbell clean. Those biceps are screaming when you're in that position, when he gets the lap, he's calling it right there. And 325 is a heavy bag.
That is a
It's a heavy, as much as Damon made it look easy, but I think it's one of those times, again, you need to know what technique
So
to use the
remember,
sand to your
after
advantage.
every event, we
when you're a
reorder
shorter
the
competitor, too,
athletes.
depending on how you pick that up,
Yep.
you're not going to have any power with your legs out wide, but you kind of have to put your legs. Same with stones,
So this
right?
way
You
there's
have
a
to
lot
put your
more
legs out wide
strategy
in
that
order
goes
to
into
get that
each
into your
event.
lap. Then you've got to waste the energy to get your legs a little bit closer, to have that hip drive, to have
Athlete
that power
ready.
to roll it out
Judge
and
ready.
get it onto your shoulders.
Go.
It's a very big lesson in physics too.
Yep.
For folks like me, shorter legs, it's
Ooh,
going to be
that's smooth.
big.
The sport of strongman is mostly applied physics.
Exactly.
That's one of the
Saving
biggest things.
energy.
I think it's Sky.
Sky?
I believe it's Sky up there right
45
now.
seconds to go.
Sky Olsen's up right
Flying
now.
through this.
Again, hugging that bag nice and tight.
Nice
Very
job.
powerful with the hips, using his height to his advantage. Speaking
35
of shorter
seconds to
athletes,
go.
he's a taller
35
athlete.
seconds to
Giving
go.
the advantage here.
Again, because when you get to that 325, it's such a long
Yeah.
bag.
But again, we're seeing that where he tipped it forward, and again, that weight is at the bottom. He has to kind of keep pulling it before he even gets started. We saw with
Audience,
Damon,
make some
he was able to
noise.
get it over
He's
those
gonna
knees
get
very
it right
easily.
now.
I love when they do, but if you're strong enough, it doesn't matter. That's the key of strongman. Oh,
You got 10 seconds.
and again,
10
that weight
seconds.
at the bottom. He couldn't get the rotation to help him with that.
Ah, so close.
So I hope he
man. Give it up
watches
for
his
Sky
back and
Olsen.
kind of tries that technique out.
It's so hard when you're working with a heavy sandbag like that to not try to
Up next, we got
Yeah, with that,
dangerous.
so much on the bicep.
So much on the bicep. If it's fallen, let it fall. Right?
But like, it's hard when you're an athlete in the moment. You're like, I can do it, and like, luckily enough, looks like he's okay.
Athlete ready.
Everything's fine.
Judge ready.
Instead,
Go.
coming up next. Is that our next competitor?
Oh, fumbling a little bit with the bag, but very powerful to the top.
You know, it's funny too. I think with that, because again, just on pushing them forward. It depends on who you train. It's important to train.
40
people
seconds to go,
who are
Eric.
stronger than you, but they also might have a different technique
Yeah.
that you can try out. 'Cause if you only see it one way your entire life, that's a positive observation.
Yeah.
You get to see different ways. to try
30
to
seconds.
make
30
stronger.
seconds.
Job
Correct.
of helping people out, looking new
I-
techniques for things.
As much as I like talk about this technique, I didn't utilize it even at the official tournament games that they had this year. I learned it
20
after the
seconds,
show,
20 seconds.
and that's why I'm so adamant about this technique of pulling it into yourself, because how much it
15 seconds
changed
to go.
my ability to get sandbag to shoulder.
Audience,
That's the
make
first thing
some
because I didn't
noise.
start with that. I started with the same way you were talking about, and that's why I was like counterpoint, because someone brought it up to me and showed me that, and it revolutionized how I sandbag to shoulder. It changed everything in the energy conservation, the power output, and just understand. When you think about it, it makes sense, but thinking's not always my strong suit.
He does.
Thinking isn't fun. We like to lift heavy
I'm
things.
big at doing.
A great run there.
Yep,
I think he missed the final one.
320. He did not get the 325-pound bag, unfortunately. That seems to be the challenge here, that last bag, which again makes sense. It's a heavy.
I said go.
Blake Ditas, I believe, is up right now. Not happy with the last event, but plenty of time to make up points here with how, again, powerful hips, getting in position.
50 seconds to
Try to move really
go.
quickly and not let the sandbag seize.
You'll
Really
have
push
your
it,
division
push it
next year.
Yes.
At the same time that sandbag is falling forward, which is great if you hit it correctly.
Yep.
But you can also. So he's
40
hugging it up.
seconds to go.
Yep. Again, it's almost like I said, a living event. Everything's moving in that bag the whole time. The longer you wait, the more it settles, and it can settle in the wrong areas.
And also, the longer you wait in the squat, the longer you have to try to pop it up and sit.
25 seconds.
Yep.
It's harder to breathe.
Yep. Straight bear hugging this one. Wide hips, narrow feet.
You got 15.
And that's where the 325, that bag height is starting to become a problem here, and he's calling
You have
it.
to
Know your
squat so
limits.
far down
Yep.
to get a good bear hug
Listen,
on
if you
that.
wanna take the
You're
mic,
low
then
enough
come
to
over here.
Lift it and pop it into your lap really quickly.
Yeah, 100%. That last bag is some big points. I believe only one athlete has been able to get there. That was Damon Curtis.
Props to our volunteers, by the way, who filled up these sandbags.
Yes.
My goodness, and then also are resetting them
Yeah.
after each one, which is just so difficult. It's just a lot of a good
Yep.
workout.
And a big thing is you see these volunteers are setting up the exact same way each time.
Yes.
Each athlete has the same facing forward, because if you ever use those Cerberus sandbags, they have a little opening. And you always want the strap to be in the right spot, straight forward on that one. And it does help, especially if you do the side style that we talk about, call it hot dog for this one on there. Basically almost one motioning that one.
Really speedy second bag as well.
Very fast with the hips on this one.
35 seconds to go.
Coming underneath with that hand on the underneath
40
part.
seconds, 40 seconds.
It is. No, it's very scary on that
It's
one.
very scary to watch that. You know, it's just
Oh.
man.
Audience, make some noise.
Yep.
You got 25
I believe this. It
seconds.
looks like Sam wrestling. I can't tell from here fully, but I think it might be. I could be incorrect.
20 seconds. Make some noise, audience. This is where you need
He's
some
got.
noise.
He's got to keep jumping. He's got to keep. Oh.
So close.
It's so heavy on that arm, and you're just trying to
10
lean
seconds.
back.
Oh, give it up for
Sandbag.
Sam.
We'd Sandbag over shoulder at the Southeast regional a couple years ago. And I
Up
had my
next,
mom,
we have
somebody went for
Chris
Christmas, was like,
Schwantz.
200-pound sandbag. I knew that was the sandbag that we were going to use. I was like, I need to train with that.
It has to be the bag. You have to have.
I have to have that. And,
Yeah.
and I won that event. I ended up winning that event. It was the only one who got that last 200. It was about 6. You had to go over your shoulder. And that's just
Athlete
exhausting.
ready.
But you
Judge
have to
ready.
have,
Go.
on that last one, give yourself time to reset, get your breath, and calmly put it
Yep.
over your shoulder.
This is Chris Schwantz. I believe he's coming up next, so hopefully he has a good run here. Very fast to that first bag. Explosive athlete. We saw him kind of utilize that jump
35 seconds to
technique
go,
on
Sean.
the back toss. And now he's using a similar, almost again, you see him almost leave the ground. He did just leave the ground
Yeah.
on that 300-pound bag. You try jumping with 300 pounds in your
35
hands.
seconds.
Look at that.
I wouldn't get that high, I
No.
promise you that.
Bobby's making it work for that. So that
Yeah.
was under the 325.
So and he knows his strengths. He's very explosive. Oh, he's got,
Spin around it.
and there it is. Another athlete with a 325-pound bag. Again, all those explosive movements helped him out a bunch on there.
Great run.
Whew, that was a great run. Rolled up his body. Similar to how the log clean. That's what he went with that technique. Again, we see so many different
Let's see if
techniques.
the power of
Well,
the
when I
mullet
mentioned
has anything
Angelica
to say
Darby
about
at
this.
Nationals a couple years ago, if you watched her stone run to the Arnold, but actually saw her at Nationals a couple years ago,
His
you
name's
weren't at
actually
all
Aiden Howell.
surprised that
Athlete
she won
ready.
that stone run
Judge
because of
ready.
how efficient and
Go.
how amazing she is at those cleaning to her shoulder. Very impressive. Angelica's
Speaking of
an incredible
explosive
athlete.
athletes, Aiden Howell is up now. He landed the bag standing as well, if you notice that. He's
He did.
he's nice enough to put the bags back where they go.
35 seconds
I always like the
to
young
go.
guys who just aren't
35
afraid of
seconds
anything,
to
right?
go.
Like
that's
so young, you don't know enough to be
to be afraid of it, and that's the definition of Aiden.
Oh, he lost
Nope, did
control.
not get that. Bobby shaking him off. He did not get that down command. Didn't have it settled enough.
The same rule we talked about in event 1 is wait for your down command. This is where his inexperience, his youth, is coming into play here. And it might cost him the 325. We'll see here shortly if he has enough effort left.
I just gotta know how his hair doesn't get pulled out all the time. So my hair was down.
Audience,
I
make
mean,
some noise.
Maybe it does.
I
He
got
just
an
has
extra
enough
hair
of it.
tie, buddy.
And again, this is where that.
10,
See, look, his legs are out wider because a little bit shorter, having to bring them in to get the
Yeah.
power.
6. Oh.
Yeah. And that's where I think.
Man, that's his struggle with the 300, having to re-pick that one and redo
Just
it. 'cause
used
he
so
missed that
much of his
down
energy.
command.
Up next
I think he would have had a good shot at a 325 if he didn't have to clean the 300-pound bag twice. Look at that. Nick Hine is up now.
See the traffic moving behind on Atlantic Avenue here in Virginia Beach, Virginia. We're out here at the 17th
Athlete
Street Pier
ready.
and Stage.
Judge ready.
Kind. Coming up
Go.
next, Sandbag to shoulder.
Yep. Starting off with the full hot dog setup.
I love that we call everything, we call it hamburger and hot dog.
Everything
It's
is food to me, so I
everything is
understand. Yeah.
50 seconds to go. 50 seconds to go.
Yep. I think Nick just really wants to get through this event. I was talking with him yesterday. His biceps have been acting up, so I think the faster you get through this, the better you get to the next events. They'll get through the 2 bicep-intensive events that we have on day 1. Big hips, big powerful drive. He's got to get underneath it a little bit more. Now he's got to start jumping up, and he's got it.
You know he's got to be happy about that.
That was a good run. That was a very, very good, very efficient run. Each one of the bags looked the same.
That's really the mark, because you saw that on sandbags too. If there are better sandbag athletes, every single sandbag looked the exact same.
Disregard the weight, just get it moving the same way.
And are you really a strength athlete if you don't have sore biceps at some point? Like by the end of your prep and your training, if your biceps aren't screaming, your elbows aren't screaming,
Oh, he just destroyed it. Let's go.
What are you even doing?
What are you
Is the show even heavy enough?
Exactly.
You're up.
The show is definitely heavy enough here at the Cerberus Super Series, though. I'll tell you that right now.
All right, McQuiston, I believe, is our next competitor.
Yep. Matt McQuiston. So So it looks like he edged out Hein on that second event by the couple points. We're seeing the orders. Remember, though, in Strongman, the order goes reverse of the previous event. So the better you do, the later you go, the more you know what other athletes have done. And he is having a blistering speed on these.
I think he's our first athlete wearing gloves. I can't tell. There might have been others. It's hard to see where we are, but I don't like wearing gloves on Sandbag.
I go back and forth on them, but he is making this look easy on that, and I believe that could be your new leader of that run.
I want to know what brand of gloves now.
Yeah, as we talked about the gloves, they stuck well on that. But the biggest, I think, with the gloves is how tight you get them on your wrist.
Exactly.
Because if they start to slide and move, that's where they become a detriment on that. But if they are tight, usually we talk about using wide receiver gloves for football. Or American football for our international viewers on this one. Those are very helpful. They're very sticky on that, so they help with that. I think on a day like today, I wouldn't want to use them because we have a little moisture in the air. But in drier climates, I do like them.
Again, it all depends on the fit, because if you get them on there and they start sliding, then you have to take time, take them off, and I've just never been, I don't trust them as much.
Yep.
Mitch Wilkinson is our next competitor.
And that mustache, can we talk about that for real fast? That is an epic mustache.
When I tell you, when you're in a military town, that's a good mustache, right? And that's standing out.
35 seconds to go.
Big, powerful hips on that. That's the way you want to have with these bags.
He's got 42 seconds. He is the fastest to the last.
Going with the bear hug technique. Big kettlebell swing-like move right there.
That was beautiful, though, because it got it up to his lap.
Yep.
It's like very speedy run on that last bag, too.
I have no notes. I've never seen someone do almost a kettlebell swing to get the bag up there.
Almost like a circle, like you would clean a circus down.
Yes, that's a very good explanation on that. Yeah, that is great on that. And like I said, that's things to try.
Yes.
Things to try that works for you.
Test it out. See what works best for you. I get that everything is going to be different because everybody's bodies are so different, and you just find what works best. And what works great for somebody may not really be the best thing for you. So don't just set yourself with just one way to do things. There's so many options.
And that's the joy of Strongman. It's you gotta get it up. It goes from A to B. That's all you're trying to do. Doesn't have to be pretty. Doesn't gotta be nice. It's always nice when it is, but as long as it gets there, it's the same points.
I think we have Jake Harry.
Solid.
Jake Harry.
45 seconds.
I don't know if he's hairy. Let's look more in depth.
I mean, we're at Strongman. Most people are hairy. Just not on their heads.
Very fast on that one.
35 seconds.
Already on the 325-pound bag.
These times are going to be close in some of these.
Yes, very close.
Splits are very,
And we're
very
seeing
short.
that. We're seeing that heavy bottom.
Again, he's wearing gloves too, and you saw him.
It was
just
sliding
adjust
a little bit on it. Looks like then the heavier the bag, when you get those hands wrapped around, you start feeling them slide.
20 seconds.
And Strongman is such a grip-heavy sport on absolutely everything.
He's messing with those gloves. I think those are setting back a little bit here. He's got the gloves taped on, but even then, they start to move a little bit.
Shift on your hands at all. You almost need to get like a size or two down.
Yeah, I sized down one size of my gloves for this event. I'd rather be a little tight than ever move for me.
And they're only on temporarily, right?
Yeah.
Like my Cerberus elbow sleeves that I have, I'm like, well, these are only going to be on for about 2 minutes. I can restrict blood flow enough.
Are they the triple plies?
They are the triple plies.
The triple ply elbow sleeves. They are great, but you need them on and off right in between.
It is not comfortable.
By no means, but they do the job. Cerberus, if you're looking for a new pair of elbow sleeves, triple plies will do the job.
Judges like the ones that we have today. I'm talking. Hey, give me a second. There's a lot of noise.
Some more of our friends with the armed forces flying above us, but they're above. It's cloudy today, so you unfortunately can't see them.
Go!
To our next athlete.
Isaac Mays, our current leader, in the overall standings. Almost one motion his bags from the ground. He is catching and flipping.
Love to see it. And again, you see them.
He's getting so low
wider.
underneath them. That is a lot of bicep. That is. He really, trusts his arms.
Which again, you see when you see the athletes starting a little wider in that squat, then getting closer.
But it worked great for him, and he had a great run on that one.
Beautiful run. Again, your power is not going to be when your legs are really wide on that hip drive. You need to have your legs a little bit more narrow, so you have to factor that in when you're training. It's starting wide to get the pick, sit down, get them closer to pop your hips.
Yes. So I think it honestly helps a little bit to have a little bit longer legs as well too. When you bring it in, you sit taller. I'm a short femur gang, and it's
Same. All right, there we go.
It's not super helpful for this event, but that's why I have to use a lot more hip power and hip drive. That's again, all these different techniques that athletes are using. Try each one of them, see what works, because again, your body mechanics will affect how you do this event.
Well, it's like when you see people like Kira Rickson, right? Who is 4'0" doing loading stones, and she basically has to overhead press it.
She has to face press it. That's
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah, we see
Well,
that-
Rhiannon Lovelace isn't tall either. She's one of the
We
best.
see that a lot with like Deep McVie as well in the 80s, who's not a very tall athlete. That I've gone against him where the first loading is above his head.
Good. Wait for it now. Let's go. Let's go, Matt. Good, big hips.
Another athlete wearing gloves.
Oh, you got
Yep,
30
choosing the glove
seconds
technique
to
on this
go.
one. So
They look very similar to the gloves worn by Christopher
Let's
Wilkinson,
go.
who ran through that event.
You got 30 seconds. Hey, buddy, time.
This is Matt Powell.
yeah, I believe it's Matt Powell.
Yeah.
All right,
Getting onto that final bag.
come on, buddy.
They're moving so quickly that we can't even double check the athlete's names.
He's taking off his gloves right now.
Yep. Again, that's where the bag comes into play, where it starts to slide. And now we're seeing that divot in the middle, where all that weight's in the center of that bag. So the hardest part is. But the good news is he's rotating where the center of mass is right now, so it should help him rotate if he can get the hips through. But we've got that almost like half circle problem
Like a
here.
little taco.
Yeah, a little taco.
You don't want to taco your sandbag.
Never taco your sandbags.
Never taco your sandbag.
Hamburger or hot dog. Never taco.
See, there we go. I like this. Don't you dare taco that sandbag. All right, when they got through those three, that 325, we've got a good number of athletes who have gotten that. So those split times, how quickly you got that is going to play a big factor. We are speeding through today, too, by the way. It's about 2:20, so we've been going for almost 2 hours.
2 hours.
Judges
We're
ready.
getting
And
through
we've got
3 events so far.
Yes, this is our third event. So,
And this is the final athlete on the third event.
Mochi Gemba.
Yep.
Love that name. I like mochi, too, so it's
That's-
great dessert.
That's all I think about every single time. Everything's about food here with
45
us.
seconds to go,
It's
Richie.
gotta be.
Very
Richie's
fast. Again,
speeding
using
through.
that pull technique.
I was gonna say, there you go. Squatting down, getting his hands pretty low so that when you stand up, it's
35
further
seconds
up on
to
your
go.
shoulder and it helps you out there.
And the biggest thing, you see how the bag explodes off there with all the weights at the top. It'll actually start rotating
30
over
seconds.
yourself very well. Just gotta get over the. He's just gotta get over those legs.
I gotta tell you, I really
15
like that
seconds.
kettlebell
Audience
swing
make some
technique.
That was-
This dumbbell
oh,
swing
God.
technique.
Yeah.
That's a genius idea.
That is, if you have the drive for it. I want to try it, see if I can even do it, but like, I won't look as pretty as what we saw earlier. I'll tell you that
No.
right now.
Oh no, here's the
Medley.
thing. You're going to look stupid the first time you do a lot of
We're now
strongman events,
transitioning
and that's
back to
okay.
the
We still
beach.
look stupid doing them, and a lot of us have
I was gonna say, or
done that.
constantly if you're me.
Or
But
constantly, absolutely. I think I've tried the jump
wanna
technique of the
give a quick
sandbag toss, and
shout-out to
I think I
our
fell.
sponsor.
And it looks like Richie was not able to get that 325-pound bag, but again, he was very fast to the first 3 bags. So again, it'll come down to split time on this last bit right here to see who is in the lead. But what was it? 5 athletes, I believe, at 325 pounds, maybe
so,
6.
And some of them got them really
Really
speedy.
quick.
So,
So-
we're all set up for the squat. Looks like what our next event is going to be. So a 600-pound axle squat is what's
Yep.
coming up next. Athletes are moving back out to the beach. CJ Kraus, Jen Bates out here in Virginia Beach, Cerberus Super Series. We'll be back in just a few moments with our next event.
Through our struggles, there are opportunities. Opportunities that can change us and change the world. Born out of risk, strife, persistence, and triumph, our achievements define us as humans. From the bottom, we can rise. Risen, we can dominate. We are strong. We are pioneer.
Welcome back, everybody, to Virginia Beach, Virginia. The sound of the leaf blower means we are getting ready to start. There's CJ Krause, about to go with the squat.
Yes, the squat. I've been hyped for this event since before it started, and they made me wait. But now it is here. We're excited for this squat event today. 600 pounds. And looking at this, it looks like it is 600 pounds. It is quite a spectacle here on Virginia Beach.
But that's the fun part about Strongman. Make it weird, make it a spectacle, and make it interesting for the viewers. What you probably all are interested in is who's leading right now. So we just updated the scores after the first 3 events. So we had the overhead press medley, we had the sandbag toss for height and distance, and we had the sandbag to shoulder. And right now, we've got a pretty commanding lead for Isaac Mays.
Isaac Mays, 45 points so far, has a 5.5-point lead on Matt currently in second place, 39.5 points. Just behind them is Nick Hine. That is your current podium right now with those 3. But Isaac is a commanding lead, and he is not trying to let this go.
Absolutely. And then there's a pretty big drop off. Once you get past those top 5 or 6, you start to see a little bit more of a significant drop off. So there's a very tight race. I believe Richard Mochigimba is about 9.5 points off the lead, 10 points off the lead almost. So there's still room to be made up with 16 guys in the field. Anything can happen, even with 2 events left. So the squat is coming up next. You'll see they're squatting with an axle bar too.
Correct. It is a fixed axle bar. That means it's a thicker bar than what you normally see. This is not the bar at your gym that is nice and get your hand. You can't use your hands around this bar.
No knurling on this thing. Nope. I mean, it's pretty smooth. And what they're allowed in this one too to wear, no grip shirts is an important thing here. You can't have anything that's sticky on your back.
No grip shirts are allowed. No squat suits are allowed. They are allowed briefs. They are allowed knee wraps. They are allowed knee sleeves with that. So that's some of the big factors here. They are going to, the depth was decided earlier based on each athlete, so they had to be tested to make sure they're hitting depth. They must touch and rise up on that. So.
And it's strongman depth too, so let's point that out. And that's why I find the wraps part interesting, because typically in powerlifting, when you use the wraps on your knees and everything like that in a classic raw mentality, you want to get the pop out of the bottom on that. But you need to hit that depth to hit that pop out of the bottom. So it's a little bit interesting. It's going to feel more comfortable for some. A lot of people wear knee sleeves when it comes to squat to get a little bit of support. It's not going to be much help. It's not going to add 5-10 pounds to your squat. The wraps might add a little bit if you can use them correctly and have the pop that you need to get out of them. But the squat briefs will be nice for a lot of folks too.
Correct. Yeah, I think honestly the briefs won't help too much in my opinion. They'll just keep their hips nice and warm and not overtax them. Because again, all these athletes that come back tomorrow and compete, then they have at least 4 events tomorrow for each of these athletes. So we're an event 4 of 9 guaranteed, but 10 total for 10 of these athletes.
Unbelievable. And Tyler came over during the break between this last event and now and told us, hey guys, we're going to give these people a couple extra minutes to keep moving around, because at this point in the day, you've been going for a couple of hours now, you've been up for a while, you've been moving around, you've been doing a lot of back heavy, a lot of hip heavy events. You're starting to feel it. You're starting to feel this a little bit more. It's not terribly warm outside either.
No.
It's getting a little chilly, so the wind's coming back in. That's going to play a factor in between events if people get cold and then have to warm back up, especially for a heavy squat. 600 pound squat.
600 pounds. Like, that's baffling. And this is for reps. This is not like, do 1, you're done. Ideally, you're getting more than 1.
Exactly.
That's what you're aiming for.
You'd love to get more than 1. Heck, I'd like to get 1 at that point. But
I'd like to, 1.
Yeah, these are 105 kg guys, so 230 pounds is where they weighed in. So, of course, it's a 24-hour weigh-in. So these have been eating. But, again, this is going to be a good 2.5 times their body weight.
Minimum.
Yeah. So for a lot of these guys. And I love the ab mats that are over there. They're supported by weights on the bottom, some sandbags on that ER rack, too.
I love seeing this for Strongman where it takes like 4 or 5 volunteers to move a weight one athlete has to do. And you'll see that multiple times. Setting this up took almost the entire previous event.
Exactly.
For this athlete.
They've been working on this one for a while. Greg Popejoy is going to be your head judge for this one. Greg, a fixture in the Strongman world. He is the coach of Nancy Johnson. Nancy just won OSG this last year. in her class, which is one of my favorite comeback stories of all time. Is
After
Nancy
the previous year.
breaking her leg the year before, coming back and winning the next year. Just the grit and toughness and resiliency of all these athletes who compete.
Aiden Howell is up first for this one. He's upset with his previous event. He did get through the 300-pound sandbag, but he didn't listen for his down command.
Yeah, that's
so he
so
had
tough.
to redo that bag, so he was the slowest through 3 bags on the previous event. That's why he's going first on this one. So
Aiden
he's setting the bar.
Has 21.5 points right now.
Same as his age.
Yep.
And we're getting, the full salute here. That's one. Yep. Both sides have to touch that pad, so it's very important on this one that he is going with equal every time he drops down. No hip shift on this is the goal.
It's funny, his left side is dropping down right before his right side, so there's a little bit of shift in his hips. He is wearing the squat briefs. You can see that was a more even lift.
Yeah, with every one of these lifts, because there's that fixed plane, that fixed axle, it's a little tougher on that one hip dropping through. So.
Now watch this crew put this back on the ER rack. You see him help him get out of his belt. He's a little bit woozy there.
Yeah, he definitely saw a few stars there, but he's okay.
That's how you know it's good, is when you see the stars. Bobby Thompson helping him out off the side. But a good showing there by Aiden. That's a bunch of reps to get
very good.
through.
I lost count as I was watching this position. I think you got 5 or 6, if my count is correct. But again, we'll get the official count later on, as always, because you never know what is changed based on what a judge calls. Again, waiting for those down commands is very important. We saw a few athletes cost a rep in the first event. We saw Aiden himself get cost a rep in the last event. So
this morning. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No.
No. This morning I was going to say they're adjusting the height on the rack right now. This morning what slowed things down, that rain made it a little difficult to get everybody out here, get everything set so they could get their rack heights. So you'll see the taller the competitor, higher up, etc. So they have to change that in between each competitor who goes.
As it should be. Mike Legikis is up now.
Walking this out is terrifying to me.
Yeah, that's the scariest part of this one. And he's got one. He's on the board.
He's on the board, man. Not going to zero this one. Oh, that's gritting it out for 2.
Yep. It looks like in a solid spot right now. Utilizing those pads. That's 3. I think his first one was his toughest rep. I think he's in his groove right now.
This is so... Oh. And this
3
is
reps.
a timed event too, by the way.
Yeah.
So where in the gym you might give yourself a couple seconds in between. Like you really need to move for this.
In reality, I think I would just try to go as quickly and controlled as possible, because in no world am I on that implement the full time.
No.
I can't fathom wanting to be under that implement the whole time.
I know.
The second I get that down call that I can squat again, I want to be just dropping my body.
Squatting for reps is just miserable. Let's put it that way. Most things for reps, generally not fun.
Yep.
But I think this is 600 is actually a good weight. Sometimes you go to competitions and it feels light.
Yeah.
And then you're doing. Nobody wants to see 25 reps. Nobody wants to have to do 25 reps.
I can't even count to
something.
25, so it's not even not helpful at all.
He's here for looks, folks. CJ Krause, looks and food.
That's all I ever want. Anything over 2 is cardio, so make it heavy enough, please.
But it is true, though. I mean, nobody really wants to do more than 8 to 10 reps on something if it's 4 reps. So what's nice is it's time. So Jacob taking advantage of very tight knee wraps.
Yeah, so he got them on just before the timer was about to start. So it's very important to get those on as soon as possible, and then when he's done is off as soon as possible.
Most important part. You see a lot of people if they're wrapped correctly, you're going to have bruising around your knees. You're going to have some pinching spots, and the person wrapping you is going to be sweating.
Yeah, they should really get them cinched in tight. It looks like his are cinched in very tight. He's ready to go for this squat. Very controlled. He got the one. That was very clean. It's a little off-center, though, so we're seeing it shift a little bit. So I think when he pulled it off the rack, it's a little off-center.
He did tell us during the break that his back got tweaked a little bit, too, so he's not feeling too hot.
Well, he got 3 so far. This third one looked like the best, so it looks like he's in a nice groove. This 4 will end up beating Mike previously. That's 4 reps right there.
He's going to rack it. That's a smart move. you know, with the axle too, again, this is tough because this one's taped, right? Most of the ones in your gym are going to be taped, but you can't guarantee the person who did the taping knew where the center was, right? So you really have to make sure you're centered on that axle wherever, measure yourself out, because it's tougher to see than on a bar where it has knurling and it has the center knurling.
Yeah.
Jacob very happy to get those wraps off of his knees.
He's very happy to get through this one. I personally would not have racked that. I've been like, your guys' problem, and got away from it. He is a gentleman and a scholar for walking that bar back in.
That is the nice thing to do,
yes,
right?
It is, but he is nicer than I am.
If you've ever spotted at a powerlifting meet, you know how scary that is when people just decide that they're going to dump it.
I would have dumped it. I would have went down to the bottom and just like gently put it there.
No. Oh, man.
All right, Eric Olmstead is up now, and it looks like he's not able to get that one back up.
That one rep, man.
He was trying to get that momentum, that bounce out the bottom, which you can do with these pads if you're good at timing that bounce.
If you're not having if you don't have a Cerberus pad, the ab mat ones are also incredible. That's what we're using over there. Cerberus Sandbags holding down that ER rack.
Blake Dietis is coming up next.
Olmstead, I love it. He just walked over to Dante and is like, he's laughing. He's like, there was no chance I was going to get up with that one. But you know what? That's what you got to laugh about this stuff. It's okay to take this seriously, but the reason you do it is because it's fun. The reason you do it is because it's just a cool thing to do. You just gotta love it.
It's a passion, definitely, for sure.
For sure.
These athletes are going for money this weekend. This is one again professional show. So
that is one thing we haven't talked about. I really don't. We've kind of neglected that part. There's $12,000 in prize money to be handed out this weekend. So this is not just for
fun.
Pride.
Fun is part of it.
Not just for pride here. Cash money being handed out this weekend to our winners. So that's exciting. And love seeing more and more of that come into Strongman.
Yep.
And be paid
definitely
out, because
sure.
This is not a cheap sport.
Nope, definitely not. But it's a growing sport. It's good to see that these sponsors, and thank you to all the sponsors who have given to this, so these athletes can have a professional competition and win some money this weekend. Yep, Blake Dietis looks like 8 is the current leader with 8 reps. I miscounted on that one.
Wow,
clearly miscounted on that one. So.
Got that first one in. There's rep 2. Pioneer Fit is another one of the sponsors. Probably made most of the belts that you'll see these people wearing.
I love my Pioneer belt.
I've had one for a very long time. I've had a couple actually, and they last forever. They're very sturdy belts. The 1/2 inch on the lever is a great idea, and on the prongs as well. So.
I have my lever belt. I love it for deadlifts, especially because it's very cinched in, and it looks like a donut. So speaking of food, that's what keeps it going.
I love it. Mine's the black sparkly with the gold, the gold lever on it. So that's always who I recommend to people. If they're new, I'm like, you need to go here, figure out.
If you're gonna invest in a belt, make sure you invest in Pioneer.
Invest in a good one.
And Pioneer invests in you is a lifetime warranty on those. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, that's even better.
Yeah.
American made. You gotta love all that.
Yep.
You're getting what you pay for on that one.
Break a lever and you get a new one. It's insane.
Yeah.
Was it Matt Powell's up next?
His wraps match his socks.
I always like matching everything, so good job, buddy. 29 points, so in the fight right now for Matt Powell. So he can have a good showing here is what he's looking for. And we're chasing that 8 reps, and I believe that McBride is in second with 4 reps so far.
Dad, you got this.
Oh my goodness.
This is so wholesome. If you can't hear it from out there, we have Matt's
daughter? Son?
I believe he's cheering him on. One of his children is cheering him on right now on the microphone.
Yeah, that's his daughter. Oh my goodness. Using those mats. Using the mats
to bounce
for that
up.
little bounce back.
And he is finding a new power. This is dad strength at its finest.
Oh, dad strength is a thing. Dad strength is a thing. Wow.
He's got the bounce on cue right now. He is in his own world.
Oh, wow.
And he's calling it there. Yeah. And
Oh, he put in that. When you talk about effort, they're trying to get those wraps off of him as
we're
quickly
talking about
as
those wraps,
possible.
need to get off as quickly as possible. Thank you, our volunteers.
Oh, he's good. Yeah, he's good, man.
He's fine. Those wraps are just very tight. If you ever use knee wraps, that's your feeling right there. You want to be out of those as soon as possible.
I gotta tell you, that was the most adorable thing. I think his daughter's right in front of us. He's coming over to the chair, but she's gonna go give Dad a hug because my goodness, that was the cutest thing. Oh, he needs to make a dad joke right now.
Two after him.
Well, I mean, you know, we forget that too. A lot of these guys are dads. A lot of the women are moms.
Yep.
They got their kids coming out here and supporting it. That's
I mean,
just impressive.
and almost pretty much every athlete out here has their own day job as well
Good
too.
job! Great.
All right, we got Ricky Gamba.
His daughter just walked by. I had to tell her good job.
Take the lead.
She's got a future career in this, I think.
She
does.
absolutely does, man.
Yes.
She's taking Yanni's job here pretty soon.
That's not hard to do.
Oh, Richard.
All right, Richie is up now, trying to hold a good try. He is currently in 5th place, but he is also 9.5 points down from the leader. He's 2.5 from the podium right now. So he needs a good showing in this event.
I think once they're getting into those 2nd and 3rd reps, they're feeling where those mats are bouncing, and they're getting into a little bit of a groove.
Oh, he mistimed that bounce. That bounce shot him forward a little bit.
Oh,
He's not happy.
no. He
Not
had
happy
a
with
couple
3.
more in there.
Yes, I think the strategy might be to find the groove and get a couple that are good for you, and once you're about to fade out, go into the bounce.
I didn't notice this, but Matt Powell's spandex.
Yeah,
I
I
was
love
just looking
those.
at that. He's just pointing out his George shorts. Those are impressive.
Yeah. Those are the thinnest George shorts I've ever seen, but
Not leaving much to the imagination.
not at all.
So our volunteers and spotters reset that. I think the lifeguards are over there too in the background, and we got the drone flying now too.
Yep. This crowd is picking up. Thank you guys so much for all coming out here at Virginia Beach. Again, nice love you. If you're in the area, we got the rest. We got what? This is event number 4. We got one more event after this one.
One more event
And
after
we
this, but
have
all
2
day tomorrow.
All day. We have 6 events for the women, 5 events for the men, so 11 events tomorrow total. We start early tomorrow at 10 a.m. I believe is when the live stream will start. So be ready for that tomorrow. Everyone watching today.
And if you're coming out here as well, there's a food truck, Bark.
Bark.
I know that what Fish said he had the wings earlier.
Oh, I had at Bark yesterday.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Nice.
a fellow strongman, Andrew Pepiot, he's a manager over there, and he hooked up some of the best barbecue I've ever had.
Oh man, tough.
Oh. He's stuck on the pads right now, but he can fight through this if he can just get a little leg
my
drive on there.
goodness. Now that's just the bottom up squat is what he fell into right there,
Yes.
and that is a difficult thing to get out of. Oh, that is tough.
I think he let the bar fall a little bit forward on him,
Yeah.
so he got a little dunked. He didn't wait for his feet to settle underneath him. He was a little bit far away from it is what happened there, unfortunately.
Well, and squat is not a common.
No,
it's
very
not
rare.
A common, especially just with a random like the bar and walking out. That's a powerlifting thing. Typically, you'll see somebody squatting, but it's a set bar, a set area where they don't have to move, don't have to walk out,
Yeah.
don't have to have those variables in there.
I've actually never done a squatting competition.
Right.
I've had one show. I did not make the finals of that show, which is where they had the squat. So I've only seen it once in my entire strongman career. So it would be very foreign to me as well if I had to do this one. So a lot of these athletes may have only seen it once in their entire strongman career. Not that they don't squat, but it's a different feeling.
It's an absolutely different feeling. And for those who are new, if your friends or family watching, you're watching a loved one, if you're not quite sure what's happening, every strongman show has about 5 different events, and they vary from each show. Each promoter is going to have a different thing. So it's really kind of fun. You can pick and choose a show where you either like the events or want to be challenged by the events. So that's what's really fun about it. And if you're just starting out, there's usually a novice class too to get you accustomed and acclimated.
Yep. Jake Hare is up now, walking out that squat. Again, one of the taller athletes. He has more distance to travel than a lot of other athletes. So he's going to have a deep squat here. He's very long legs.
Very slow on that first one.
I think he's feeling out the implement.
Yeah. That's probably a smart move. Yep,
Yeah,
he's a little bit
'cause
faster
again,
there.
If those, look how massive those barrels are in the end. If those shift at all, they're taking you. You're not taking it.
And that's exactly what we were just talking about.
Yep. Those barrels will take you somewhere. Luckily, the athlete got out of the way. It's always important for athlete safety. Is again, if you have to dump, ideally you're not doing it. He did not do that on purpose, everyone. I promise you that.
Absolutely not. No, that bounced off the mat there.
Yeah.
But you know, Greg Popejoy again is your head judge here, and just like Bobby, Greg's gonna make you earn it. So when he called that no rep,
Yeah.
Got to listen to the man there.
Again, this is not the first event anymore as it was previously. This is a grueling part. After that sandbag to shoulder event, their legs are screaming.
Their lower backs are screaming too.
Oh, on top of that, not with everything else they've done today.
But again, those squat briefs hopefully helping keep hips and back a little bit more warm. Because again, the wind's picked up a little bit. It's not sunny out here at all. It does get a little chilly, so between events, if you're sitting for too long, you get cold, and that's more of a chance for injury, more of a chance for things to your body to figure out it's hurting.
And that's why we had a slightly longer break between events. They were, again, athlete safety is utmost important here at the Pro Strongman League, the Cerberus Super Series. It's keeping these athletes as safe as possible with these challenges we put ahead of them. So they got a little bit extra rest, a little bit extra warm-up time on this. So hopefully they got pretty warm and use that to their advantage.
Taking time to reset a little bit before our next competitor, who's putting on some wrist wraps and going barefoot, apparently. I squat barefoot. I like squatting barefoot personally. I used to use lifters, any shoes. I just feel my feet better on the ground and feel it through. I just enjoy it better. I get better depth on it as well.
And I am happy that makes you happy.
I front squat with lifters. I will say that.
I'm just not a fan of barefoot at any time. But that's just a personal thing on that. But also, and my ankle mobility is not the greatest, so I need that little extra height on that.
All right, Sam Wrestling.
I know Wrestling is very excited for this event, so hopefully he lives up to that hype he's given himself. He wants to make up ground with it, and it looks like he is ready to go.
He is cruising.
Oh my God, he looks like he's on fast forward.
It's Sam, like I said, he came into this event saying this is the one I wanted to hit, and he is showing why this is the event he wanted to do.
10 reps already.
And that is the current leader, and he is not close to being done. He knows the athlete's coming after him, though. He knows Isaac Mays is after him as well, who is his training partner on that. So.
Oh, he didn't get that last one, but he still got about 13 reps.
Oh, he had no reps on that one.
Oh, you have to rack it. There we go. One rule is you cannot toss it behind you.
If you drop it, you don't get the rep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. That's what Yanni just said. That was in the rules. So,
15 reps though. That's
15 reps with 600 pounds.
He squatted 16 times, but he looks like he lost it there at the top end.
That is by far and away the
So he's got
leader on
15
this
total
event
reps.
right
That's
now.
still an incredible showing. As the previous athlete that the most was at 10, and then drops to 8, and then I believe 4 is after that. So 4 times the 4th place person right there to get that, to put into perspective here.
To give you a little thought too, Sam Wrestling has 30 points going into this event. So Nick Hine has 38. So when we're looking at that, if he pulls that 16, there could be about an 8-point swing. I mean, there's going to be a big point swing here anyway. But that could be interesting depending on how your top 3 fare in this, which would be Nick Hine, Vince
It looks like we have
and Isaac
Damon
Mays.
Curtis coming up next on this one, and I love his board primitive jorts he has on right now. The bright colors of that one. Again, board primitive, one of the sponsors of this show. So their jorts, I love his mindset on this one because I use their jorts as almost warmer pants as well.
Yeah, they're a little bit thicker, and I love them I honestly use the Born Primitive jorts as my everyday jorts.
All the time.
You can work out in them. You just have they look
I think
great.
I have like
they
6
feel
pairs.
great. Yes.
Yeah.
I have a couple pairs of them. I have them with me, but it's a little chilly out today for some jorts. But they're extremely comfortable. I'm so happy I got them. You can train in them. You can go out in them. They're wonderful.
Only compete in Born Primitive jorts. They're my always competition wear every single time, and for the reason being not just because they're stylish, as we can see out there right now with Damon Curtis, but the fact that they are, again, a little bit more support. They're warmer. They move with you. Most jorts you think material is restrictive.
They're soft. Born Primitive.
They move with you 100%. So if you're on the fence about buying those Born Primitive jorts, no, make sure you go out and get yourself a pair.
They usually have great sales on their website too.
Always.
I love shopping their site.
Yes.
Damon getting set. He had the crew center that bar a little bit for him to make sure that he picked
Damon
it up.
is a methodical, very analytical athlete. So we saw him in every event get it exactly where he wants it.
Right now, I've just got a view of Beau Ford his back, so you know, which is not a bad view, Beau Ford.
Well, we're seeing a big hip shift right now with Damon Curtis, but he's getting these reps going, but he's going definitely with the right left. On that, it looks like that finally gave out on that one. When your hips are shifting on that, it's very hard to power through. And Damon's fighting, trying to get this bottoms up squat, and he's went no-handed for a second.
Yeah,
and
they're going to help
to call
him
it
out.
right there.
Good strategy, Cotton.
Bold strategy, Cotton, and it did not pay off for him.
He got a little bit of height, but not enough to go all the way to the top on that. So
Oh no.
yeah. Yeah, a lot of these athletes coming out of these wraps, they're just need help to get all the way to the chair. So he looks like he's okay right now.
He's like, I thought I had more in me. I love it. But typically where you see people fail in the squat is their hips are going to shoot back first. They're going to dip forward with their head. That's a failing point. Usually when it gets heavier and you start seeing those breakdowns in form, their hips just shoot right back and it shoots you forward.
Well, we saw with Damon, unfortunately, he used so much energy on these first couple reps where it was a right hit then left hit. And when there's 600 pounds, that's 300 pounds per side on those barrels, roughly. And then you're hitting both sides. It kind of takes you somewhere. It's not...
You have to balance it back out.
It's not a trip you want to take. I'll tell you that, guys, right now.
Did it sound like they gave him an extra rep on there?
This is because he got the squat command for the next rep before he threw the bar behind
Okay, so
him.
it sounds like they're going to count that 16th rep
on
the squat because he got the command for the squat before he had the bar fall behind
And we were talking
him,
about wrestling on that one. They got the 16th rep
Yep.
on that one. So it looks like they gave him 16. They reviewed the tape, which again, professional system, we always double check everything. Nothing's set in
Exactly.
stone until it's put on the score sheet.
Right? You always got to look back on something, which is nice. I mean, everybody's got videos. You can see it clearly. In the moment, judges are going to mess up. Volunteers are going to misload something. Always check what's loaded for you. Always talk to the judge ahead of time.
Unfortunately, it looks like he got stuck. But he's powering through it with a bottom-up squat on that one. Losing it. He's leaning a little forward. He's hitting the front of those pads. So he's kind of getting kicked backwards, but it looks like he's found his rhythm here.
Much better.
Yep, there you go, Chris.
Nice recovery.
Yeah, I thought Chris Swan was going to be stuck. I did not think he was going to get that up, and now he's getting a rhythm.
Seconds to go.
You hear him grunting these out.
As you should.
30 seconds.
Nice work. Nice recovery,
Yeah,
man. I tell you what.
That is actually the hardest thing you would ever see on that one. He was full stop.
The mental fortitude
Yeah.
to not only get that first rep, but then get into the rhythm and continue.
9 reps, that's big points. Passing Aiden Howell there to could jump into third place was Chris. After his first rep, got him almost buried there.
And Chris Schwann has 29 points going into this. So it's Sam Bristling and Chris Schwann, numbers 1 and 3 right now coming out of this. We're about to see a really big point swing depending on where our top
And I believe it
three
was
finish.
Matt Powell with 10 was
I believe so.
So 3 guys separated by 1 singular point right now in first, second, and third. Sam currently has 30 points. Chris and Matt both have 29, I believe.
Yeah, and exactly. And those are your top 3 right now. So the
For this event.
second half is for this event. So the second half of how this goes, Hein coming up next.
Yep. Nick Hein is coming up next. He is currently sitting in third place with 38 total points. He really wants to get points today. He says his best events are tomorrow, so the closer he gets to that podium currently will help him out the most going into his better events, what he told me. But the pressure's on. We're looking at some big point swings.
He unwrecks that easily.
He did. Realistically, anything over 4 is big points right now. So it's one of those times it's like, do you conserve energy depending on how it's moving? Looks like it's carrying him a little bit, but he's able to get that recovery. The core strength on these athletes is insane.
There's 4 reps right there.
And he is not slowing down. He's going for it all right now. He's finally got his stability here.
40 seconds to go.
Oh, he's got 40 seconds, plenty of time. But again,
7.
you don't want to wait on these reps here.
8.
This is an event I do not want to be sitting under the entire time limit.
No, you just want to keep moving as much as you can. There's 9. He'll get 10.
This is an important rep.
He has moved into second place.
The question is now, does he go for that 16?
15 seconds.
13? He's got to get 3 more. Oh, he got it! He got it at the buzzer!
Did he get that? Are they going to count that final one?
And we have a tie.
Oh,
16
wow.
At the buzzer!
My goodness, the way he got those last 3 squats in about 2 seconds. Is
Yeah,
what
it was literally less than 10 seconds. You hear Yanni and RN counting down the timer
My
on that
goodness,
one.
you saw Nancy's face as she stopped the timer. She's like, "Oh my gosh, he got it!" Like that was milliseconds.
That is a full send. He threw his body up out of that one.
that is one of the coolest things. That was impressive. Well
Oh, that
done.
was very impressive to make that. And then that's the benefit of going later in the timer, though. He knew the number to beat.
Yeah.
He knew he had to match,
Mm-hmm.
and he
And,
went to another level.
and that first rep, too, threw him forward. He
Yes.
actually was very unstable after that first one. Reset and then hit 15 more.
Yeah.
Like
It's
it was nothing.
Again, that recovery, the mental fortitude of the professional athletes. Lee is excited over here.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, and Nick really wanted these points back. So he said tomorrow is his day to do damage, and he just did some damage today.
I was going to say, if tomorrow's his day to do damage, I'm not sure what we're watching right now, but that was impressive as hell.
Oh,
Wow. Still got a couple more athletes to go, but
Yep.
I tell you what, that right there,
that's gonna be tough to beat.
whew, that's setting the tone for the
That
rest
is.
of this weekend.
That is for everyone after him.
You got to love seeing 600 pounds.
16.
16 times.
600. That's
16 times. I don't math good, but that's a lot.
That's a lot.
You know,
That's what?
Yeah, well, hold on, let's do this. 16 times
9,600?
600. Yeah, 96. How do you math that good? 9,600, yeah.
I math okay. I don't talk good, but I math okay.
When you think about the total weight moved, it's just
Yeah.
insane to me. Good first rep.
This is Matt McQuiston. Yep, Matt McQuiston is up right now, currently in second place with 39.5 points. So Nick Hine really put the pressure on him.
Yeah.
So he realistically needs to break that 10 barrier to keep himself ahead
100%.
of Nick Hine on this podium.
He's going to need to move a little bit faster than this. I know he's got a good rhythm going, but
Yeah.
he's slowing down.
He's
just
slowing
a
down a
touch.
lot, and that's
Yeah,
600
he's going to
pounds.
rack it.
All right, that gets 5 reps.
5 reps is good points. That
Okay.
breaks that 4-point barrier we were talking about. So if I think he knew
Yeah.
he wasn't hitting those double digits. 'Cause
That's fine.
we're seeing
Yeah.
a couple 16s, we've seen a 10, we've seen a 9, we've seen an 8, and the next was 4.
Mm-hmm.
So again, as an athlete, you need to decide like where's my line for myself,
Mm-hmm.
and if I can't reach 8, that was the perfect stopping point. Knowing there's only 2 athletes behind you.
Right, exactly. That is what we talk about when we talk about just get the points. We talked about that much earlier on in the broadcast of like, there's got to be a lot of strategy, especially on day one. If you know this is not your strongest event, do what you can. Get points on the board, move on to the next one. You can't come in last all the time. If you come in first you can't finish second all the time and expect it. It's interesting to
Well, it's
see
one
how
of those
this
things
all
like I
works
thought about. I
out
believe Terry Radio is the one who won America's Strongest Man 105K without winning a single event.
without winning a single event. Yep.
That's an important factor to remember.
Exactly. I podiumed once because I won one event, or I won one event, and the other person who tied me on points didn't win any. So that's how I got onto the podium in third place, right?
I podium nationals, not winning a single event.
It's amazing how that works out, right? When you are on these bigger classes, it's okay. Utilize the bigger class.
It's the goal is all about consistency, especially now we have 10 events for these men. The goal is to never finish in that bottom third. That's all you really want to do, and then you have a chance to fight.
Exactly. Isaac Mays.
Isaac Mays, our current leader with 45 points. He's a 5.5 point lead on second right now. Again, we saw Matt. This is a good chance to increase his lead on Matt right now, because I believe Nick Hine is going to jump Matt into second place. So
Really
now,
curious to see how the points shake out after this event.
this is one of the biggest shakeups we could have. Isaac a little unsteady getting out of there.
He doesn't look comfortable underneath that at all.
Yeah. So again, he might just try to to keep enough points to keep that lead he has. He's got a good lead, but he's getting a rhythm now.
He looks much better than he is. Very shaky to start.
He's got the bounce down. Hips are dropping exactly the same time. The second touch of the pads, he's sending that up. Oh, he's starting to feel that struggle. We
Yeah.
hear him over here. And it looks like he's just passing Matt right now, so he's going to increase his lead on Matt. Now he's trying to hold that farther lead against Nick Hine.
I think he's shooting for that 10. I think 10 would be a good.
I think his 11 would be huge, because that would put him in third place.
Yep.
20 seconds.
He's got to be right there.
It looks like he's calling it there.
Yeah. That's smart.
I did not get a count on that one.
Neither did I.
Isaac with 13.
13 reps, so that's great.
Isaac started sounding like Randy Savage.
So that puts him in third place right now, which again, that's exactly the place he wants to be right now.
That's
In third
perfect.
place with that point.
That's perfect. Keeps him right up in those standings.
Yep. So he's only losing 2 points, well 1.5 points actually, because it's a tie at first right now to Nick Hine, who he already had a 7-point lead. And if those of you who are first time watching Strongman, first of all, welcome. on this. It is a points game, so there are 16 athletes total. So if you win first place in the event, doesn't matter how much you get distance-wise, you get 16 points. Second place gets 15, third gets 14 on that one. So it's not really about how much you win by, it's the fact that you just need to win the event.
And then we talk about split points a lot too. If you tie on something, you'll take those points and split them between the 2 or 3 people.
Yes.
However many tie.
I believe our last athlete, Vince Wilkinson, is up. He is currently in 4th place, but only 1 point outside of podium, so he's at 37 total points. So this is a chance to potentially jump Matt onto that podium.
Rep 3, so he's struggling right now. This is a heavy squat. You saw him trying to bump his chest and pump himself up a little bit.
And that was a tough little spot there. So he'll probably hold his 4th place right now, which is not a bad spot going into event number 5.
Not a bad place to be.
But to close out that event, we had a 2-way tie first place with 16 reps. 16 reps.
And then we had Isaac with 13 reps.
13 total reps.
So frame carry will be the final thing. The Pig Iron Metalworks frame that we used in Baltimore on the qualifier. They've changed up a little bit. They put some runners on the front.
That's
so
good.
we basically tested it out in Baltimore for the qualifier, and now we're using it again.
Yep.
So really excited to see how that one goes. I believe it's like a, 720 pound
720
frame?
pounds, yes, correct on that one. Yeah, so
right.
not a light frame.
Not a light one.
But it's not much more than they just squatted, so they'll be fine.
They should be fine. Their backs are all warm right now, right? All right, well, we're going to take another quick short break. It'll probably be about 10 minutes or so, and we'll come back with the final event of day 1 of the Cerberus Super Series 105 kg men's competition for today. We'll be back in a moment.
Through our struggles, there are opportunities. Opportunities that can change us and change the world. Born out of risk, strife, persistence, and triumph, our achievements define us as humans. From the bottom, we can rise. Risen, we can dominate. We are strong. We are pioneer.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. We are to the final event now here at the Cerberus Super Series Pro Strongman League 105kg Men's Day 1 at Virginia Beach.
The show's not even over. Not even halfway over.
Not even
right
halfway
now.
over. I'm Jen Bates. He is CJ Krause. We are your hosts for today. Remember, we have a full day of events tomorrow with the 82-kilo women as well as the 105kg men for Day 2. But this has already been a very eventful day. The last event, the 600-pound squat, was insane for so many reasons. Half the crowd was tearing up because Powell's daughter gets on the mic to cheer on Dad, and you gotta love every second of Mac Attack. Oh, I love it. He's saying he got at least 4 extra reps. At least 4 extra reps, he says. But he did an excellent job, and that really did well for him. He's now sitting in 6th place with 42 points. But the point changes from that because of Sam Rissling jumping up into 4th place now.
What a
after
jump on that
16
one.
reps. But then also Nick Hine matching him on the was just an impressive day. The number of squats these guys got with 600 pounds on their back was unbelievable.
I see some of the judges before, and they're like, yeah, 7 will win it.
Yes.
Maybe add 10 to
Right.
that.
Exactly.
Like, an insane number of that one. Oh, the leaf blower's getting in. We know it's almost time.
No, it's almost time. The Pig Iron Metalworks frame carry is going to be next, a 720-pound frame. And during the break, CJ, you and I walked over there just to look at it because it is a little bit different.
Yes.
You love frame carry. I love frame carry. Big fan of it. But your technique on this one is a tiny bit different. Your hands, my hands are smaller than
Yes.
Some guys have meatier, thicker
Yes.
hands. They might run into some issues on getting their hands
Into
further,
the it's a very
far enough
tight frame.
underneath.
So
Yes.
between the frame handle and the end of the frame is very close together, where the frame handles don't sit outside the frame.
Yes.
Where a lot of times you see these frames at certain shows, they will be sitting outside the frames. You have all the room for your hands that you want. These probably have what, a 2-inch gap between the end of the frame and the handle itself. So if someone has thicker hands, it's hard to get their hands inside of there. I'm lucky enough to have little slender fingers on that one, so I can really dig in deep. But some of these athletes have really bare claws of hands.
Absolutely, and really, you don't want to hold it in your fingertips, right?
No, by
you
no
don't,
means.
You don't want to hold it like this. You really want to get underneath as much as possible.
That's how to maximize the amount of forearm power you can have. You really want to curl your wrist and turn it inside of there. So if it does start to slide, you still have all this extra power as well inside of there. So it's going to be fun to watch. It's not a far distance, but it's a heavyweight and odd implement.
Exactly.
And all the factors here. So that's one of the biggest things is the shape of it.
And
as
also
well.
a surface they've done their best to be even, but it's not terribly, it's not 100% an even surface. It's pretty close to it.
Yes.
But after that squat and things moving around, things shift.
'Cause it is sand underneath us as well. That's something to factor in. It is. We have our mats, we have the wood, but there's still sand underneath. There's all these variables. With Strongman, it's all about the variables. That's the biggest thing with all this.
We do have some updated standings, by the way. So normally we go in between the events. However you placed on the last event would determine your order for this one. The final event today is going to go by the overall. So Isaac Mays still our leader by about 5.5 points
Currently, yes.
right now. So he has 59 points. He is still your leader, followed by Nick Hine with 53.5, Matt McQuiston 49.5, and Sam Rissling jumping up in there. He was one of the 16 rep guys.
Yes.
He's at 45.5 points right now. Those are your top 4. Vince Wilkinson rounding out the top 5 with 43 points.
Yep. Tight race on that one. Like I said, it takes one event sometimes. That's what we saw with Sam. He had 30 points. He was sitting in 6th place last time. Jumped all the way onto that right outside that podium.
Right. So he and Isaac Mays each getting 15.5 points for splitting that first one, for splitting first on there. So he.
Well, him and Nick Hine, you mean?
Yeah, Nick Hine. Excuse me.
Isaac
Him and
Mays
Nick
took
Hine.
second on the previous.
Him and Nick
13.
Hine hitting their 16 reps on that. Absolutely unbelievable.
We're just baffled by the saying the word teens with a 600-pound squat.
Greg Popejoy is the head judge you were talking to during the break, and he was the one calling the down commands on that one. And he's the one that said, maybe 7 reps would win that, 6, 7, something. Because, again, that's a lot of weight, and that's an axle bar. It's a different implement.
It's also kind of this is event 4. It was supposed to be event 1 was that squat. Imagine if we started with that squat. How many more would we got? Would we have seen 20 between Sam and Nick? Potentially, right? Well, Nick kind of got the buzzer, but I think Sam had the time to do it.
That was so exciting, too. Nick hitting that right as time was expiring. And there it is, leaf blower. Looks like we're going to start getting ready for the final event. The leaf blower going on. Trying to blow all the sand off of this, which is especially important in any sort of carry event. Typically on a carry, running down the lane, I like to, if possible, walk the lane first. Get anything extra out of your way. Feel where there are the bumps. If you're outside on the concrete somewhere, make sure there's not just some sort of little snag in there that could hurt your run.
And then shoes will matter a lot on this one too. We'll probably see a lot of athletes wearing a lot of flat shoes. What we look for. Is there a certain shoe that you like to wear on moving events?
Typically I have Innovate sneakers that are very, very flat soled. And so they're very thin soled, but they're light enough to keep me moving. You see a lot of people wear, I think Vans are pretty popular. Anything with kind of a stickier sole too is very helpful. It all depends. These mats are pretty good. If you're in a convention center floor, that changes the game for me.
100%.
Depending on if you're carrying a frame too or something on your back like a yoke.
Correct. Yeah, I think it's very important. Again, understand that flat sole is the biggest thing. I like Jordan. I like anything with a high ankle support.
Okay.
That's what I'm getting. He does ankles in placements. But you're not really running with this weight. You're more gliding.
It's a good way to put it. Yeah.
You don't want to be stepping. You don't want to be trudging. You want to be gliding across as we go through the ground. You almost want to leave your both feet on the ground as best as possible, but obviously you need to step.
I think Mark Felix said it once, when you're walking with something like a yoke or a heavy weight, you're not actually walking with your legs, you're walking with your hips, and that's that glide. It's a little bit different, powering yourself forward. You're not wanting to do, it's a different kind of walk, and you got to get somebody to show you how to do that when you're first training it. Otherwise, you feel like you're going to flamingo a knee backward, and then nobody wants that. Nobody
Shakira
wants
says
that.
your hips don't lie.
You stopped using knee sleeves, you said, on your farmers and your frame carry as
well?
Yes,
I did. Yes, I started using knee sleeves on anything in the handed carries on that one. I prefer it opens up my legs a little bit more for more room on that one. I think so. We'll see what athletes choose to do. On yoke, I still use knee sleeves because obviously there's a lot of pressure on my back. It's a little bit heavier on that one. But anything where my legs I'm holding outside my legs, I've tried to go away for knee sleeves.
I was telling you I ripped a fingernail off when I had knee sleeves trying to do a farmer carry when you picked it. Pay attention to Nancy here.
Nancy is going over where we want this frame. We want it as fair as possible for all athletes that are coming here.
I was going to slide it, but it's heavy, says the woman who won OSG. An impressive athlete, Nancy Johnson there. Mike Legakis is going to be our first competitor up on the 720-pound pig iron Metalworks frame carry.
All right, got a good pick. Again, I like the way he's got it set up to where it's leaning slightly forward, so the weight carries you a little bit on that one.
And that's a fine line too, because if you get it too far forward,
he's just short.
Oh,
big heartbreak, but not. And he's got to bring it back as well.
I believe there are unlimited drops on this one.
I believe so, yes.
It's all timed.
I think we're seeing those hips start to pivot, but they just came off a very heavy squat, so their hips are just fried. Their quads are burning. This whole competition.
Well, and look at it too. Every time he drops it on these mats, it's bouncing and it's not going straight. You have to straighten that back out at some point, or else you're going to add distance to yourself.
100%. That's the hardest part.
I think he's gonna try for the last event of the day, man. Come on. Oh, look at that.
He's giving everything he has. That's all he can ask for.
Trying to pick 720 pounds twice because you have to drop it at the end and turn around.
Yeah.
That's tough enough to ask somebody to do who has just squatted 600 pounds or put 600 pounds on their back.
Yeah, it's after doing, Sandbag shoulder up to 325 pounds, after doing a press on multiple implements, 300 plus pounds. It's quite a day they have.
Which brings me to my next question for you. For a day like this, on day one, 5 events tomorrow, how are you eating throughout the day for an event like this?
Big thing for me is I am trying to snack as much as possible. I'm not good at eating throughout the day, so I try to make sure to time my glycogen, time my sugars beforehand. But with the show as fast as I have done a pro shot, I've done 2 pro shot only shows at this point, and I am a big fan of watermelon in between events because because you don't have time to drink and eat with how fast this moves. So that's something I really enjoy, like watermelon or Uncrustables or things like honey.
Uncrustables are my jam. The Travis Kelce Uncrustables, between everything, yes.
Yeah, but I found that watermelon at Pro Strongman League specifically was one of my go-tos because it's hard to find time to drink and eat because how fast the show is.
High sugar content in the watermelon, high carb content, high water content as well. Great call.
Very fast out the gate.
Olmstead is cruising.
Yep. Again, the faster you move, the less you got to carry it. So he's ready to go. All the way through, and that's a clean run. That's a tough time to beat right there.
You know what? Nice redemption right there for Olmstead because he did not get it. He zeroed the squat. So coming back from that, finishing out the day strong, that's a really strong.
That's also, again, a fresh athlete, too. If you zero the squat.
Think about it that way, yeah.
Which doesn't take away from that great run. I'm not trying to say it was because of that. This is still heavy regardless on that one.
With 720 pounds, in 12.1 per second.
12.1 seconds.
Whew.
That's going to be a good
That's a
time.
fast time.
It's a very fast time. It's going to be
Well, a big part of
seconds that
these
separate
athletes that are
these
very
guys.
good at moving events, it's all about that transition, that drop and pivot and turn, getting their hips involved, pushing through, and knowing where to grab. So a lot of these implements, I like to mark my grab point. I'll put a piece of chalk line on my turnaround. Sky, this is what I was talking about a second ago, why you want to mark where you're picking up. Because on his way down, he had to pivot it forward. On his way back, it's pivoting backwards now, so it's slowing him down a little bit.
He finished the run, but he's definitely disappointed with those few drops. But he didn't pick it all the way. He looked like he was trying to stand up slowly and build momentum going into it. But
I'm a huge fan of that strategy, honestly.
Yeah.
One of my pet peeves is someone standing then walking on a moving event.
That's fair.
You want to be slightly leaning forward so the weight starts to carry you, and you're more guiding the weight than carrying the weight, in my opinion, when it comes to any of these grip moving events. Because you want to get that weight as little on you as possible. You want it to be doing the work for you, and that's how it picks you up more. Because most of these athletes weigh significantly less than this frame, so the frame can carry you pretty well. Jacob McBride is up next.
Lots of ready, Jacob. Athletes ready. Judges ready.
He was recently out in Denver doing a Pro-Am for Strongman Corp, and he had a lot of trouble with the Farmers Carry event. So this is kind of a redemption event for him.
There you go. Hey, he gets that first leg. He's going to take his time and reset on this one.
Yep, so now he's trying to get those hands set in this, because it was the way back that really folded him a little bit on that one.
Look at this.
He's got
His
to keep it
veins
tight.
popping, his neck popping right
all
there.
the way through,
Oh, wow.
and he got it right there.
Nicely
What a great
done.
run for Jacob. That is the redemption run I think he wanted.
It's controlled chaos almost. When you're moving forward like that, you want it to carry you a little bit, but you don't want to get out of control.
Yep.
You can't get out of control there. He was very controlled on that run back.
And it's one of those things you don't want your hips to get ahead of your feet.
Yes. Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things. When that starts to happen, you are in full no control, and you're going to be going in a nosedive.
Another interesting point on this frame, the handles themselves are not terribly long, so there's not a decision on where to pick necessarily.
Correct.
It's not like you're trying to pick middle or a little forward or a little back, which I would always pick a little back to tip it forward a tiny bit.
See, Blake Small's athletes you see with these larger hands, his knuckles are almost hitting the sides of the frame as he's trying to pick it up. So I think it makes it a little bit tougher for him in that initial pickup on that.
Well, and you think about the grip on this too. After those sandbags, your grip is going to be shot a little bit anyway, trying to pick that up and use your fingers really
And it looks like
hard.
that calls him out there.
I don't blame him. That's a tough one.
After all those squats, all those events, he's like, he lives to fight another day. And he's got another day to fight tomorrow, so.
And a tough thing about frame outside too, right? Especially on a day like today, it's been humid. There's been a little bit of moisture there. Very big possibility after doing sandbags, all these things, of tearing open your hand too. It is possible if you're not treating your calluses before a competition, getting your skin a little bit softer and putting chalk on there and then grabbing the frame. Potential for ripping something open. So that's another thing to consider. Always take care of your calluses is my main point at that one. Shave
Your
them
callus
down.
is nice where they want them to be. Damon Curtis is up next. His hips probably a little bit tired from that squat. We saw him kind of pivoting during the squat, so hopefully he can get a clean lift on this one. All right, good lift on that. Good pickup. He's got utilizing the full tilt on that to again, that help him carry it forward. So he's leaning the body forward. I think he's probably, what I'm assuming, is tilting his wrists forward as well. That's pretty beneficial to help out with this. So if you're ever in a situation where you can get that guide going with your carries, tilting the wrist slightly forward, which I think he utilized perfectly with that, so the weight carried him.
Picked up some good momentum on that run coming back.
Yep,
Exactly what you're talking about.
So that was a great run there by Damon.
Again, Pig Iron Metalworks, one of our sponsors, and of course they're the sponsor of this event, specifically Zone Smelling Salts Pioneer Fit Series Steel Fitness.
Speaking of zone smelling salts, Jake has his in his hand right now. It looks like he's ready to go. Get a little wake-up call from those zone smelling salts.
I would use it on this one.
I would 100%
I would
use it.
100%
Every
use
time.
it.
You just want to get that big pick and move.
A little amped up. Just get
Ideally, it's a
yourself
quick event. Like,
a little Ric Flair moment.
Yeah.
You feel it.
oh, this is an interesting technique he's using right now. He's using the kind of like give of those handles to turn them forward almost, so his hands aren't perfectly straight. You can't really see that from home, but I know it's him like pivot the wrist in, and it worked very well. He went a little bit farther past the line though. Kind of carrying behind. He's got to get his feet moving. He wants to finish this in time, and that's the downside
No, he's so close.
of when that weight gets behind you. He felt it too, though. He felt it start to pull him back, so he tried to pick up his feet, And he
Yep.
just couldn't beat his hands on that one.
Oh, he was so close. It was 1 inch
Yeah.
away from that
It's
finish
one of
line.
those, and that's I think the markers are super important. If you have the ability to look at the equipment beforehand, put some markers down, even if it's in the warm up, like put a deep chalk line that only you know is there. It's very helpful on that. I enjoy even there's multiple athletes going. You can kind of like subconscious look and grab
Yep.
from there.
And I think, too, when it comes to strongman competitions, go until someone tells you, no, you can't do that. That's generally... Oh, he's hopping right. That's that
Hopping
Mountain
in.
Dew kicking in.
I'm all hopped on a Mountain Dew. Come at you like a spider monkey. Let's go.
Come at me, bro. I love it. Walker, Texas Ranger.
Aiden told me he's a little worried about this event. He's saying grip is probably his weakest point right now in his current young career.
And you know what? This is what we saw happen quite a bit in Baltimore. Tipping forward that much. The little skids on the front have helped.
Yep.
But he's trying to move so fast with it.
That's been Aiden all day. He's been almost erratic. And that's the
Yeah.
problem. You want to be controlled chaos. And it looks like his hands are starting to give out. So I believe he knew his grip was one of his weakest points on this one. And he wanted to beat his hands, which is kind of like half the battle sometimes. You want to beat your hands from giving out. And he just came out the gate a little too hot.
And you notice, too, with some folks, this happens in powerlifting quite a bit, but after a couple events, your hands start swelling. And when your hands start swelling, you lose grip. And so if you're going into a very big grip event as the 5th event of the day, your hands are a little bit more swollen. You're not going to have that same ability. So if your grip is already a little weaker than expected, it's not going to be great.
Well, this is
by the
also
end
where
of the day.
nutrition comes into play, too. I don't know if he's been eating today. You can swallow by having too much sodium
Sure.
as well on top of that. So depending on how your refeed went, I've had some refeeds where I overdid the salt and my hands would start to swell, and I kind of had to pay attention to that. So if you're coming off a refeed, 'cause these athletes did cut weight for this, most of them, and you have too much sodium, you can start feeling that swell in the fingers. So it's something else to keep in mind as a factor.
And this event, too, you'll notice everybody gets to set up with their hands on the implement. They don't have to use their own time to set up, so they're already set, ready to go. So that timing is important, too. Where you hit your breath, those are the little things that will give you an extra half a second on somebody else.
All right, good pick there from Chris. Again, his hips went a little bit ahead of his feet, though, on that one. That's why he lost a little bit of time
A
on
little
that.
shaky.
Yeah.
On that. You see him, his shoulders going back and forth. It's, oh, yeah.
Oh, he's got it across the line finally. Yeah, this is one of those times that your central nervous system is so fried. Especially he was the athlete that had to do that bottoms-up squat to finish up, and he got it through. Again, he beat his hands across that line, which is the important part there.
He was a little bit pigeon-toed, too. You see him walking like that. It's interesting watching different athletes run with these, and how everybody has their different form. But, yeah, looking at his hands afterwards, like, ooh, like that hurts.
You're just double-checking those calluses. That's what you're doing there. You're like, are they still there?
I've had it happen to me before. It was hot and humid. It was a farmer's to frame carry, and on back, I was like, why did this slip? I looked down, blood all over my
the hands, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's like, oh, man. Then I got out in front, tried to drag it, and Chris told me, no dragging. I was like, that wasn't in the rules. So you didn't say I couldn't do it.
All right, Richie's up now. Big, powerful pick.
Mochi Gemba. Strong walk.
Again,
Consistent.
very brooding through this one, setting up.
His is tipping back a little bit there.
Now he's got to beat his feet. He's got to work through it. That's so much extra tension on the hands, and he made it. When you get that tilt back,
That's hard, man.
it's again, he did the thing where his feet need to beat his hands now.
Yeah.
Versus when it's tilting for you in an advantageous way, you want to be able to get that rhythm. But if you feel that tilt back, and I like how he didn't panic.
Yeah.
But he noticed it, and he's like, I have to speed up. Because it's going to fall. You're not getting a good distance.
It's going to fall.
It's going to. But when does it fall is the question. So you're trying to beat that distance. If you get that's why it's important, again, to know your pick points. But if it does happen where it doesn't work the way you want it to, you're not dead in the water. So one thing about the sport, I was talking to some of my athletes I coach.
Look at Bobby just lifting, just casually lifting one side. Sorry, I had to point that out. As they fix the tape, but working with one of your athletes. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, no problem at all. Bobby Thompson's fun to watch too. So one of my athletes I was telling the other day, not every pick needs to be perfect, especially the transitions on that. But you need to be strong enough to understand when to push, when to pull back on that. We were working on yoke, and I would teach him. He would step out and step back into the yoke. You'd pick and turn on that, and if it's a little bit low, you just fight through it. It's only 50 feet or less most of the time.
Right.
It doesn't have to be ideal every time, especially in this sport.
That's hard too. And you think about staggering your feet, or if it's super heavy, being stable first with your pick. There are a lot of different factors to consider. If it's a max weight for distance, or if it's just speed, it's for time. This one being distance and time. So.
And max speed is important here. And Matt Powell is up now. You can hear his daughter cheering him on already.
Oh my gosh. Mac attack.
Mac attack.
Oh,
And it
that's
looks like
gonna
his
be
hands
tough.
are starting to give out.
Maybe the extra 4 reps kind of wore him out
Warm
just
out.
a tiny bit
Big
on that
points on those
squat,
4 reps,
too.
and now starting to fifth him. But what he's trying to do now is make sure he beats Aiden's distance. The perk of going later. Yep. And
Oh, that's
he's
so
feeling
tough.
his fingers on that one. It's one of those things, once it goes, it doesn't come back for the day.
It is very hard to get grip back.
Yep.
Oh, he's trying so hard. He's got his quad wrapped up a
All right,
little
Mac
bit, too.
attack. He lives to fight another day. He'll be back tomorrow. Not the way he wants to finish, but he's still got, again, 4 to 5 more events tomorrow.
He thought he was only going to get 6 reps. He ended up at 10 squats.
I don't know if you heard our announcer Yanni just now. Powell thought he was going to get 6 reps. He ended up with 10, and that's all due to the support system that they've got. Friends and family doing the most out here for the Strongman.
It is taking 5 volunteers to carry that back. Just throwing that out there.
Just to make it fast.
All right, Vince Wilkinson is up now. Lost some points on the previous event, so he's trying to make it up here. He moved insane through that Sandbag to shoulder
Sandbag's
series.
shoulder was absolutely impressive, and that mustache.
And that mustache. And this is where the mustache needs to come into play. He's on a ride right now. Can we make it a mustache ride? Good pick. So you get those feet moving. A little bit shaky through the shoulders.
It's just heavy, right? Like
It's-
that's where you
it's
just like,
just
I'm gonna grit that
heavy.
out.
Oh, and is he okay?
He's still in there.
All right, looks like he just looks like he just slipped a little bit on there.
He's gonna get it across that line. Yeah. Oh my gosh, he had like 1 inch to go or a half an inch to go to get it across that line.
And that's the fear of this one sometimes when you start getting moving and you just kind of fall through. One thing I didn't want to bring up, but he just showed me the kind of scare of it. I'm pretty quick as it comes through. I jump out of my farmers almost. You
Yes.
can't do that with the Pig Iron Metal Works frame. And he is digging for every single step. Every step matters right now. Everything comes through right now.
His chin. Look at his chin. He's bleeding from his chin.
Yeah, it looks like he did face plant a little bit onto that Pig Iron Metal Works frame.
Hey, good thing it's the last event, right, Vince?
Yeah.
That's impressive, man. To just kind of hop in there, and he has sliced his chin.
He has sliced
open.
his chin on that Pig Iron Metal Works frame.
To gut that out.
Yeah.
My goodness.
He's going to be feeling that one tomorrow. That jaw hit is going to...
I automatically need more hotel towels.
Yeah.
That's from my room, but okay. Not getting that one back.
We were
Sorry,
cleaning the
resort.
table with it earlier. Now it's going to be holding his
My
chin in
goodness,
place.
he might need I mean, just judging from how
might need
wide open
stitches
that
that one, yeah.
looked,
I'm pretty sure he needs stitches, but he still freaking finished it.
that is, oh my goodness. I'm hoping he has all his teeth. Typically, everybody wears a mouth guard.
Yeah, I love my mouth guards. I bit through my lip one time in a competition. I was doing a deadlift to reps, and I didn't realize I was starting to bite my lip, and I went straight through it. I finished the event, blood coming out of my mouth. And ever since then, I wore a mouth guard.
Yeah, really?
Yeah,
that's surprising.
You know, it was a cool
works like
picture,
that.
but it wasn't anything I really wanted to repeat.
Oh my
So.
goodness.
Finally
Finally getting probably get some sort of a cleaner.
Luckily, we have a great medic team here, so they're check him out to make sure he's okay. Everything goes through. They're just cleaning up some of the residuals from that face plant.
And you know what? That's not. I mean, blood happens in this sport.
100%.
I'm sorry, urine happens in this sport. It happens. Usually, it'll
Blood.
get some ammonia, get some bleach or something, and clean it all up.
Yep. Blood, sweat, tears, sometimes pee. So.
Yeah, so we're taking. And he's just behind us actually. Wilkinson is right behind us. If you can see it, he's trying to get some attention.
All right, we got Sam Rissling is up now. He came in hype on
that chin. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's going to come through.
Yeah. Lifeguard team coming to check him out, man. My
There we
goodness.
go.
All right, Rissling is
Very
just
fast
showing
here.
out. Look at that transition.
Very fast pick. A little bit behind him, so he's going to have to beat the feet. But he's stable. He stayed low to the ground the whole time on that. That might be a what?
It did not beat the leader, though. 12.1 is the leader with Eric Olmstead. That was 13.7, so
Wow.
13.11.
Near flawless runs is what it's going to take.
Yeah, but you see, his transition was a little slower than it needed to be. He just had like a half a second, and that's where
it cost. That's where it cost him right there. Like blinking, you miss it, but there's been one faster run on that one.
My goodness, but Olmstead still is your leader then,
In this current event, yes.
and that's
But I think
again,
he's happy with that run. I think he's very happy with that
be
run.
happy with that run.
Yeah. Anything sub 15.
Yeah, I was like, really?
He just apologized, saying, "I'm sorry, I thought I won the event. That's why I was flexing so much." You can flex anytime. You can flex anytime in the
Flexing is
sport.
always appropriate.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bristling is in a great spot right now, especially with that run. So we're getting into the leaders
Matt
now,
McQuiston
the
is
top
up now.
fives.
Yep. Matt McQuiston is up right now. He's in 3rd place, I believe. So he's got a tough time to do with 13 seconds, and he knows it, I think. And he's coming out hot out the gate, utilizing that tilt to his advantage. He got dropped. Quick turn, quick pickup. He's got to start moving. He's got to move.
He's going to be close.
Full Terminator status, and he's got it right
Oh.
there. And that's
13:20.
13:20.
13:25. That actually
I believe puts him in third.
third. Yeah, about right.
Yep. And then
I mean, it's close, man. But these
milliseconds between these athletes. Oh, he gets second place. Sorry.
Second place,
Sorry
okay.
about that. 13:20. So he's going to hold his lead currently
wow.
on Sam right now. So that's, again, that half-second transition that Sam took to get that pick. And we saw
wild.
Matt utilize that stand and move. He was walking his feet as he was standing. Nick Hine now is trying to hold down the second place and maybe try to get closer to Isaac is his goal. All right,
Team
Nick.
tensing up.
He's got to move. He's fast out the gate. I think, almost
no.
too fast.
Oh, this is going to be a really big.
Oh, and he's dunking him now.
This is going to be a big point swing.
Yeah, it's a big
CJ.
point. This is where that erratic nature we were talking about.
Yep. Multiple
Oh, and the grip,
drops.
and now
This is gonna be
now the
tough.
grip's starting to get to him. He's got to recompose himself. He needs to get back. He needs to finish this.
Look at Bobby. Look at Bobby getting him. Come on, yelling
He's
at
got
him
to finish
go.
this. He's got to get through. He's going to lose some good points here. Oh, and we're starting to see a bounce. Oh, no.
Oh no. He might have had an injury there. That is not. Maybe just a cramp. I think it's just.
I hope it's just a cramp right there. Yeah, but it looked like that bounce that came off the ground.
I know some guys in Baltimore are having trouble with how tight that frame is.
Yeah.
If they let their foot go back too far, they was kind of clipping their heels sometimes. Because it is.
I did hear him say he's all right. That's what I heard from him.
Yeah.
He said, I'm
So
all
I think
right.
he's okay. He's getting up
Which
now.
is what I like to hear from him. Yeah.
All right, the crowd's going to give him a round of applause. Way to fight
Yeah.
there, buddy.
So it looks like it's just a cramp, luckily, on that one. Nick will live to
Yeah.
fight tomorrow. He
He's all
says
right.
he has his best events tomorrow. He'll be sitting in a good spot, top 4 most likely.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's where you want to be, right in the heat of things.
Absolutely, and he just mouthed to his coach, "I'm fine, I'm fine."
Yeah. So
Feeling
it's
a little
just
good.
okay. That's best case scenario. For that.
Right?
So they had,
Injuries are the.
when you look at this event, it didn't look that daunting, right?
Sure.
But we've seen a bloody chin, a cramp,
People falling down.
people
Yeah.
falling through it, and that's one of those things.
Almost tipping it over.
There's no easy event in Strongman. There's no easy event in the Cerberus Super Series. So that's one big thing about this. So even if the event doesn't look that bad, think of how fast these athletes. We are currently, what is the time is it right now? It is 4 o'clock. This is 4 hours, 3.5 hours. Sorry,
3.5 hours.
on their 5th event. These athletes are working through.
We are cruising through this.
And this is our final event, the final athlete of the
This is
day,
our leader.
Isaac Mays. He's putting the tank top on for this one.
He's
so-
getting the smelling salts in there. Zone
Yep.
smelling salts. One of our
He is
sponsors.
awake now because of those zone smelling salts.
I love soft belts with the hard belt on there.
That's my
That is the
favorite.
bracing on there.
It's
It's
so
so
nice.
tight. It is so tight.
Yeah.
He's
I like
already
how he
pulling
matched
the
his belt
tension.
to his pants. Yeah, create that tension first, get those movements, and he rebalanced it. Yep, that's what you want. You want that tilt into the flat line.
He's
to
not
match-
going to beat the 12 seconds.
No, but he
from
doesn't
Eric
need to, though.
Olmsted,
I
but
think he
doesn't
knows that. He
need
needs to
Yeah.
finish. Yep. Everything's popping. He's got to not let go. He's got to force through this and pick up those feet a little bit. It looks like he's got it.
Nice.
That is a good time.
That's
that is a good
great
time.
Well, he's got such a nice
He's got a good lead from the
right
previous
now.
events. He understood the assignment, and he just held his placing.
Absolutely. That's all you have to do. And I don't know if you can see, I'm looking to see behind us, you see the lifeguard cars and ATVs behind
Yeah.
us. They're still working on Wilkinson, who smashed open his chin.
Shots
We've
on
seen
chin.
some incredible things today, CJ.
Oh, my God.
Not the least of which was a man finishing that after splitting his chin wide open.
I think he might have had to wake up in the middle of that.
He probably
in
did.
reality.
Multiple people squatting 16 reps with 600 pounds, an incredible sandbag to shoulder, an overhead press medley with a near perfect run as
Isaac
well
Mays,
from there.
yep.
What's been your favorite part of day one?
It's got to be the squat. I was hyping it up beforehand. Seen 2 athletes get 16 reps, and of course, Mac Attack's daughter just cheering him on. That's moment of the weekend to an extent on that one.
Nobody might admit it, but everybody around here was about to tear up and cry when that was
my
happening.
glasses were on. You couldn't see my eyes, but they were tearing up.
It was
there.
absolutely an emotional moment, some exciting moments, some scary moments, and that's all on day one of the Cerberus Super Series 105 kg. Tomorrow, We are starting out, I believe, at 10 a.m. with the women. The 82-kilo women are competing, and it's day 2 for the 105
Yep, so
kg
there's
men.
11 total events we get to watch tomorrow. 6 of them for the women. That's their entire competition, and the finals for the men. So
Exciting. Nancy Johnson is here, too. She's one of our judges, so I know she's going to be closely watching the 82-kilo women.
Yep.
Bobby Thompson, our head judge. We have Andrew Clayton. We have a bunch of other folks here today making this happen. Tyler Purdue, he doesn't talk about himself quite a lot, but he is the promoter of this, making all of this happen. Dante Petrella running the production crew today, so you can have this live stream. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. Hit that subscribe button.
put your notifications on for tomorrow as we start bright and early.
Absolutely. Follow Pro Strongman League on Instagram as well, and we will see you here in Virginia Beach tomorrow for the Cerberus Super Series Day 2.
Through our struggles, there are opportunities. Opportunities that can change us and change the world. Born out of risk, strife, persistence, and triumph, our achievements define us as humans. From the bottom, we can rise. Risen, we can dominate. We are strong. We are pioneer.